Hello, and welcome to another episode of Straight Outta Stanton, a YouTube talk show or podcast, as we like to call it, where me, Just Check, and Mr. Masochist are talking about Star Citizen because we love it, even when we talk shit about it. We love it.
Even right now, where it's pretty hard to love.
Yeah, although, to be fair, this episode might be more on a positive side, believe it or not. At least I feel like it would be. How are you doing, Maso?
Okay, you feel like that. I feel like I'm just kind of like, ugh. But
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of new stuff happening, so
there is. Yeah.
it's
So
kind of underwhelming, but at the same time,
We'll
there's new
jump into
stuff.
it.
Yeah.
we'll jump into it in the news, but yeah, just from what I've seen so far, I'll pop into play some 313. I'm sure when it gets to live, but I don't think I'm going to be jumping back into it in earnest just yet.
For me, I really want to, and I will, but the chances are that the game will kick me out again. Because right now, I mean, I've been playing other games and a lot, and playing something like Destiny that is so freaking smooth. I think that's their highest selling point, where like you go into the game and you're like, oh, this feels so. It's like extension, like your character is extension of your body.
What is this performance you speak of?
Yeah, and then you have like oh my god, you have like triple jump. I play Hunter, so you can first of all you jump very high, unrealistically high, and then you can like triple jump and whatnot. And then I went back to Star Citizen after a lot of playing, and I was like, what? I jumped like this much, and I'm like, there's something's wrong with this. And I was like, oh god, I'm so used to
Right, you're just a human, not a space hero robot person.
Yeah. But that's really rough. Like getting back from a really smooth gaming experience of a polished game back to Star Citizen. This is not to throw shade on Star Citizen in any way. Just the reality of it is that obviously it's an alpha, and things are not working as well. But when you play, like I played it non-stop for a year and a half, like playing nothing else basically, except for like World of Warships maybe. But that's like completely different gameplay that does not really affect me. Yeah, getting back was depressing. I did like one mission and I had to turn it off. But I want to get back to the SC loop, and I hope 313, like PTU does not look like it's gonna bring me back, but with some tiny changes in numbers, if they do that, they have me back.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I will definitely be popping in to check 313.
Oh, harps, that's not even a question for me. Yeah.
But whether or not I start playing it again, kind of quote unquote full time, at least my version of full time, remains to be seen. I don't think this is the one. I'm hanging on hope for the pie patch, because that's where we may see the cargo system refactor, and that is something that could hook me back into it. But we'll see.
From what I've seen, we're gonna touch on this later, but I think it seems like cargo trading is back to prior patch, like where you can actually trade, which
is good. That's something.
Yeah, but it's not like 100% confirmed. Like some people tested it and they were like, it seems like it's okay, but
yeah. And obviously it's PTU still.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, if you haven't figured it out, it's 313 is in PTU, so
yeah.
If you hadn't heard.
Before we start with the news, I just want to say I am not a religious person, but it's Easter weekend, right? So if you are celebrating, happy Easter. I hope you had a great weekend with the family, or anyway you do that. You were giving me a strange look. Am I wrong?
No, I'm just like, for me it's not Easter, it's my birthday weekend, so
Wait, didn't we celebrate your weekend with the last show?
My birthday was on Wednesday, but that doesn't count. That was a Wednesday.
Oh, okay. So this is again your birthday.
Yeah. my birthday gets bumped to whatever weekend it is. So for me, this isn't Easter weekend, it's my birthday
Well,
weekend.
happy birthday, Maso.
I'm also not religious and I don't really but I do get a long weekend, so hey,
Yeah.
that's something.
Well, a lot of people do, yeah. Except for
Yeah.
us here, because Serbia is Orthodox Christian, so
Mm.
ours is 2 weeks, I think.
Oh,
Yeah, it's the
interesting. Wow,
same
I
with
didn't
like
know that.
Christmas and New Year. Like everything is like 2 weeks later because of the
Mm.
difference in the calendars. However, I celebrate only New Year, like the January 1st New Year. that's
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
what
yeah.
that's the only one, and my birthday, I guess. But okay, let's hop onto the news. And the first
Inside Star
thing,
Citizen was a mega troll.
mega troll. So to
Pretty well done, though. It was pretty well done.
even too well done, maybe,
It was too well done. Yeah.
because it feels like maybe it was not that much of an effort, but like there.
No, it was.
So here's the thing. So before we dive into it, ISC last week was April Fool's joke, where they brought uh, Origin 404. So we can confirm that the Origin tweet a few days prior to that was a troll. Basically, it's an invisible ship with some cargo storage. You can see cargo and whatnot. I don't want to spoil this too much. People should watch it. It's not that long, and it's a nice. It's a funny thing.
It's funny, but okay.
They
I
got
just
me with 404 because that's like a code
yeah.
for error. So
It was funny. It was funny, but like man, they went so hard on that I don't know, meme, I guess, that like halfway through I was just kind of like, okay, I get it. Okay, I get it. I'm bored
yeah,
now. So I kind of just tabbed off at about halfway through. Like I appreciate it. It was funny, but I feel like it could have been about half the
half the
length
length. Yeah.
and still been just as funny.
5 minutes would be
It started
okay
to lose its appeal later on to me personally.
when they're trying to hold a straight face, and you already know it's a joke. It's not
Mhm.
as good as anymore, but it gave me something else, kind of a bad feeling as well, because which I'm so sad for.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas if they made 5 minutes of this and then the end of it was like the actual IC, or like they had another one right after, like an hour later or whatever, this would be the best. This would be on par
It
for
would have
me
been
with fucking flat Planet Tech or whatever it was last year.
yeah,
Which
yeah,
that
yeah.
one was great because it was just like you would see it like as an image, you would read about it, and it would be like you would have a nice, laugh, and that's it. But this time I felt like it took away from me, because I did not get an IC this week. Basically, I did not get any, and it's
Yeah. And surprise, we don't get one for another like 3 weeks,
yeah.
which
So that would make
that's
it
pretty
4 weeks, right? Because we didn't get
That's
anything
pretty
now,
rough.
right?
Yeah.
And say what you want, I understand why they do this. That's fine, but this is, especially in a very slow patches like this one, or like in general, like droughts. This is what you hope for. This is what fuels our drive, for the game and whatnot. And so you wake up, if you are like a true Star Citizen, fan, you're gonna wake up that Thursday and gonna be like, okay, I see, and then
Yeah.
and that's more hype than SCL or calling all devs or whatever you have that
Yeah.
week, because it's short, technical. You get some new information. It's really cool.
Though calling all devs was the thing we got after ISC on Friday, and I will say that I I think calling all devs kind of made up for it, just because I love calling all devs in general. Um,
Well, I guess
like
depending on
SCL.
team, no.
Yeah, but calling all devs, I find like even regardless of what team it is, it's usually something interesting. Whereas SCL is like hit or miss, right? Like if it's a team that I really don't
Hmm.
really care about or something, it's like more visual, like the art teams or something like that. I'm less interested in that. So SCL for me is always kind of one of those, like, I don't really look forward to it necessarily, but when I see it calling all devs, I'm always like, oh, okay, cool. Like, what are we talking about this week? You know what I mean? Or this time.
It was
And
rich.
yeah, so we got refueling, calling all devs, and repair.
I kind of
I
feel
will
like it could
say
be two different episodes, right?
they that's kind of one of my issues with it, because like personally I would have rather have them talked about refueling and then talked about like what they're planning for fuel scooping and stuff like that,
Mhm.
instead of like repair. And the reason I say that is because refueling is something that they're actively working on, which you'll find out in this calling all devs. And I, I thought it was cool.
And I
We
just
kind of
say,
disagree on this.
well, no,
Yeah.
no, I think it's a really cool episode, and it's so refreshing to see Starfarer in action, and how, because Starfarer is that one ship that, and I love
Yeah.
this ship. I think it's
One of the
beautiful.
oldest.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's a meme. People are like, what? Why would you have that? It's like, it's never gonna be useful, whatever. Like, it's, yeah. But then seeing it there and them like making, and the whole mechanic basically around Starfarer was so refreshing to me, and heartwarming, right? There are some issues for me with the whole mechanic, or
Yeah.
the idea
That's
of the
legit.
mechanic, because
Yeah.
we don't, yeah, I don't, that's another thing about Friday content for me, is like, this might come in years, you never know, like you get some glimpse of something that someday will come
Yes,
or be
he did
changed.
actually touch on that. He did actually touch on that a little bit. He talked about like what Jared touched on, like what his criteria was for like
Yes,
when he says coming soon versus like, in development or whatever. And it did sound like fuel scooping being in active production. I could, if I'm going to be optimistic, even see that being something that we encounter later this year. They said they need it before Pyro. Yes. So,
they said
like,
they
end of the
wanted
year, I
for
could see
Pyro,
this
right?
happening.
Like, basically
Yeah.
getting Pyro without refueling, in their words, would be kind of disastrous, because you need someone to refuel your ship, which,
Yeah. But the actual mechanics of refueling, I thought sounded neat, but
did I change your mind?
uh, no, I'm still. But I will say that you're right. They may be overcomplicating it. It could come out and it could feel just forced. But I want the refueling gameplay to be something that like people that is involved enough that people who want to play that, and there are people out there who do,
Yeah.
um, like is something that is like engaging, as opposed to just like pulling up beside somebody and pushing like fuel. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um, so I like that it's going to take skill to like line things up and dock it. Um, I like the idea. The whole pressure thing seems kind of weird to me because if I'm honest, like the pressure that's in the tank shouldn't have much to do with it. You would have pumps that maintain a certain pressure in
Exactly. That should deal
fueling.
with itself. Like, that's how it works.
Yes.
Like,
So, but like, but basically, if they actually put it out and it ends up being fun, as opposed to just feeling, I don't know, like
okay.
overcomplicating things for the sake of it, then I would, uh, then that's cool.
Here's
And honestly, given that mining when they put it out was complex but still fun, I wouldn't put it past them to put out refueling with this kind of complexity, but actually have it be something that is interesting for the people who want to do it. Interesting and complex enough to like to warrant that kind of interest.
so mining came to a point where last episode or whatever we talked about it, I said the latest addition to mining is going to be too much, and just,
Mhm.
being complicated or complex for the sake of being complex. And now in 313, when we have it, some of the miners are basically saying that they don't see the reason for this,
Mhm.
which It's still in PTU, obviously, but we'll see. And
Yeah.
here's the thing: like mining is interesting, even though I'm not a miner and I like it being complex and all that. Why not? But selling the final product, right? That's not complex. You go to TDD and sell it. I'm not talking about like reprocessing or whatever, but like the final thing where you're like like losing your product to gain money is the
Mhm.
transaction is simple. And that's what I would like from fueling as well. You should have a gameplay on your own, where you are either scooping fuel or I don't know, mixing something or whatever the hell, the way you
Mhm.
get fuel. We know the Starfare will have like, well, that's their idea, we don't know, but like having different fuel containers or whatever, for different kinds of fuel. Like
Yeah,
you have
yeah,
quantum,
yeah.
you have this, you have that. That's all good, and I don't mind if they expand on this even more, but refueling the other ship should be very simple and easy,
Mhm.
because the other person who you are refueling, they don't care about fueling gameplay, right?
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah, they
your,
just want
I
fuel.
want fuel, I want to pay for fuel and get the fuck away. So
Yeah.
them saying you'll have to like nail down the fucking pin, and we saw, like, if you guys don't know, we're going to touch on that as well, but like one of the ships where we can see where the fuel goes in, however that's called, is Gladius. Like it's on the back of the ship. It's really tiny, and if someone actually has to get out of the Starfare and like move the hose and directly like inject, and it's gonna take a lot of time. And then if they make a mistake, they can damage your ship, or you know what? I'm just not gonna use refueling
Yeah.
as another party. I'm just gonna like plan it properly, fly with a bigger ship, whatever. Or I don't have range for that. Well, I'm not gonna go there. And they have to be really careful with this, because they have to look, when you're trying to sell the end product of your game loop to a person who doesn't care about
Yeah.
it, it needs to be like super chill.
I see where you're coming from there for sure. And in to an extent, I kind of wonder if they were kind of like talking if they were talking the whole fueling thing up, like making it seem harder than it was, just because they want it to seem interesting to people. Uh it remains to be seen. At any rate, like from what we've heard, it sounds interesting, and I'm glad that it is something that they're actively working on. Um because
They also touched on another thing. Like they said that
you
you will
know
be able to buy fuel from other players, which is so strange. They were like, yeah, yeah. They said we want a gameplay where someone might have an abundance of fuel, and they're like, hey, I want to. And I was like, wait, what? Why would I fly my 315 and be like, hey, anyone wants to buy fuel? Like,
I
yeah, 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 yeah.
I don't I don't know if they were referring to that
They
specifically. I could
specifically
I
explain it as like,
Yeah, but like I imagined when you say that, my first thought is like as a starfarer, you may have just been coming in from scooping fuel or something, and you have an abundance of fuel and you would sell it to other people who want to,
of course,
go out
but
and
that's
actually
your
do the
job already. What they were saying is like, as a starfarer, you'll be able to get fuel from another ship that doesn't. I don't know. Maybe it's like fuel scooping is a thing, and like you're just chilling in Pyro on a research mission, and you're full, and you're like, hey, if someone wants to take like half of my fuel
Okay,
tank,
well
and because
that's
I'm gonna
something
stay here
too,
and
I
keep
guess.
scooping, right? So it doesn't really matter for me.
Yeah, or like because we don't have scooping. Just to be clear, fuel scooping is not going to be part of this iteration of the fuel mechanics. It's something that will be coming later. So
Oh,
so right now you'll have to buy fuel from the station, or I guess in theory, if a ship came
wait,
by and
wait.
said, "Hey, I have some fuel. Do you want to buy it?" I guess you could like take it out of their ship if you had a Starfare.
Well, that's, yeah, it's like a two-way, hoe or whatever.
Yeah.
Hose. How do you say that? Yeah.
Booze. Yeah.
Um. Uh. But we do have fuel scooping now.
Not for
Hydrogen.
like the Starfarer.
No, maybe not where you can sell scooped fuel. but like, our ships are scooping hydrogen fuel for sure, and like in
Yes,
different
yeah,
rates, which some patches is really good, some patches like
okay. But I
ridiculously
would say
bad.
that like when I talk about fuel scooping, I'm talking about with the Starfarer specifically, and being able to scoop um like through a gas cloud or in a
Okay,
gas giant's
like
atmosphere.
almost
Um,
like
you know,
gathering, mining, whatever.
yes,
Yeah,
like mining fuel
yeah.
basically.
Okay. Anyways, I mean, it's good that they're working on it. They're expanding it. It's
Yes.
not being thrown out of the window,
Yeah.
which is cool because
Now,
Starfare is a beautiful ship. And
yeah,
fuel
and to
rating is a
expand
thing,
on
man.
the
In ED, that's one of the things that like they're so proud of it.
the fuel rats,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's so cool.
Well, Segelian, who we shouted out in the gossip section, his org is Ultima Energy, I
Yeah,
think,
oh, I
and
know.
that's
Yeah,
that's like their thing, man. Like they want to. That's what he wants to do is run a fuel company, kind of a thing. So
and this is why I
yeah,
agree. Like, I don't see myself as doing that, but like
no, me
make
either.
it
I want to try it though.
for sure. Well, I will try it as well. But like, make it, especially because I like that ship as well. But like, make it so that it's a really fun um gameplay. Well, what I wish they made it like that, up to a point where you sell it. That should just be simple. Just you
Yeah.
one click, man. Sure, I don't care.
We'll see. I mean, honestly, I think like from what I've seen of the docking mechanics, it doesn't seem like it's very difficult. So, like it absolutely could be something where I could see, any competent pilot who's flown a Starfarer before should be able to line up and dock a fueling hose with no issues. But to
Sure,
return to kind
it
of
can
the
look
original,
flashy. I don't mind. Sorry. Yeah.
well, to return to the original point about like how calling all devs, the other half was about repair, and I wish the other half was about fuel scooping. It as far as like how they envisioned it, because the other half of calling all devs was about repair, and basically what we heard was nothing new, and also they're not working on it.
Yeah.
So like it's not an active development yet. It's still in like the
Creative,
design
basically,
phase.
process. Yeah.
But like the stuff they're talking about, and I know this because I'm a Star Citizen boomer and I've been around forever. Um, Back in, I think it's 2016, they released a deep dive design document on what they intended to do for repair. And what they illustrated here in this other half of calling all devs, pretty much that design document just like dumbed down to a tier 0 version. And yeah, so I will say the other half of calling all devs for me was a little bit meh, because it pretty much was shit I already knew, and then top it off with it's not even in active development yet. So
Well, that was a bummer for
what?
me. They were very passionate about explaining it, and like
Yeah.
I thought that you know if we look at, and this is what's scary, right? So they said the repair tier 0 will be, how did he call it? Um, it's not like components. It's literally hull of the ship where you
Hull
can,
scraping.
yeah,
Yeah.
and this is what I like. I saw counter, like opposite of this, to be the first iteration of oh my god, what's in my brain?
Salvage.
Salvage. And if they did
Yeah.
not even
And they said that,
start with
right?
yeah, but if they did not even
Yeah.
start with that, so that means they didn't even start with salvage, and that's one of the game loops that I would like to see and try.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And they've just like, how many times have they kicked that one down the road?
Well, few times since I've been following the game, so I can only
Yeah.
imagine.
Yeah.
But yeah, but with all this, the episode is, especially after I watched Inside Star Citizen and them saying like that's the drought start, like with like no content, and then getting an calling all devs with so much information. It was surprising for
Yeah.
me, and I did enjoy it. I'm not gonna like.
Sure.
There's some things I
I
would
wouldn't
disagree
say
with,
I
but
didn't enjoy it.
it's a good episode. I mean, it's
Yeah.
valuable episode. So yeah.
Also, if you haven't like if you haven't seen the design document and you don't really know kind of where they're going with repair, this would probably be new information for you. So you that would probably be cool. The only reason, like I said, that I was like less enthused with it was just because it was shit I've already read like 4 years ago. So
For me, it was new, but like since they did not even
5 years
start
ago.
working on it, I was like, it's just an idea.
Yeah,
So I don't.
yeah.
Like, even after a
This is
year
what
and a half, I know not to take these things seriously anymore. Like,
I was just about to look up like on the progress tracker because like salvage is on there now, like you're telling me like it's been kicked down the road so many times and it's on the roadmap now and you're still just kind of in the conceptual phase. That's
I mean, maybe
okay.
salvage will be
Okay.
completely different, but because they
Maybe
could
this will come together really quickly too. Who knows, like
maybe. I wouldn't be surprised if salvage tier 0 will only be on derelict sites
yeah, yeah, you might be right actually.
as a
And that is
PV,
something
and I'd be okay with
you
that, honestly.
mentioned. That is something you mentioned that was actually kind of
With the
like
boxes, right?
pertinent. Was just like how you have been saying for a while that salvage was going to be mining ships, and
Yeah.
I've been basically saying no, it's going to be like components first, like just being able to rip out components. But the fact that they're talking about this, and they said specifically that the first version of salvage will be like hull scraping, man, man. So does that mean that we're going to have like hull scraping before we have fully physicalized components? Because that kind of sucks. I did tell you I was going to be a little bit more salty this
No, but
episode.
this is well, I'm usually the one who's salty, so that's fine. As long as we have that, it's rough when we're both like really,
Yeah, just
but it happens, I
burnt.
guess. It's like, it's a rough period. It's gonna get better, so yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, salvage is 315
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
roadmap.
it's 315. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, right. I've been told that so many times.
Yeah, salvage is a real meme for me, even though I want
Salvage
it.
3.3. I
Yeah.
think it was supposed to be 3.3. It might have been 3.4 originally. Anyways. Anyways, moving on.
Okay, so
Watch it. Go watch that show. It
definitely
was
both
Calling All
shows.
Devs are always worth watching, so
This week, both shows are in my opinion worth watching, especially if you're somewhat new. It's gonna be good.
I'm gonna continue on with my salt, I guess. 313, like I said earlier, is in PTU, and I haven't played it, but I've been paying attention to a bunch of the streamers and stuff who are, and the overall opinion is that 313 is kind of underwhelming, which is not surprising to me because I've kind of been of the opinion for a while now that like nothing on 313 really looked like it was going to shake the game up at all. So for me, it always kind of looked like a bit of an underwhelming patch. It's not to say there isn't stuff in 313 that I think is interesting and that I want to try out, but
Of course, you
like
want to try that
it's
Rock DS. I know.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The Rock DS is absolutely my favorite vehicle, and
Sorry.
I can't wait to drive up to something and then get out of the vehicle to hop into
Wait, get out of the vehicle that is not
the
giving you
mining
any
turret.
protection in the first place.
Yeah, yeah. To hop out, yep, and then get into that, and then move the arm around to try to mine something, and then figuring out, oh, I'm too far away, and then getting out of the turret again to get back into the vehicle to move it.
You know what's
It's
worse?
basically a mole on the ground, and I love single player mole mining. Did you know that's my favorite
Do you,
way to mine?
you know? I don't know how much you use mole, like rock, but when you start mining, it
I
actually
hate
starts
rock mining.
sliding.
Yes,
So now
yeah.
imagine it. You don't have control.
Oh, good. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. I guess while we're on the topic, they released a 2-man mining vehicle called the Rock DS, I guess, and nobody likes it because it's pretty useless. And I'm not gonna try to defend it because, frankly, I don't really like vehicle mining, anyways. And I told you I was gonna be salty this
So
episode, so here I am
so
being
wait, so
salty.
it looks like the one from the concept from CitizenCon, I think, right?
Mhm.
It has 6 wheels instead of 4, which should make it more stable. To be fair, ROC is nice to drive around. in the regular one. So I'm really curious about how, because I like Ursa Rover as well. So maybe this will give you a good feel of like driving around.
More of like the Ursa, probably.
And it has more capacity. So the regular ROC has 0.0, and this one has 2 SEU. So it is a capacity bump. The problem with it is you need a driver, a designated driver, and a designated miner, or you have to like get out of your vehicle, as Masa said, and get into a mining seat and mining. If you have to adjust, you have to get out of your mining seat, and it has an awful voice, voice in. I don't know why they use like Argo is annoying to me. This is more annoying to me. Like Grey Cat, yeah, and then you get into the driver's seat and then adjust, and it's just and then the other downside of this is it doesn't fit in Cutlass Black. It doesn't fit in Nomad. It doesn't fit into the only freelancer it fits is
What about
Max.
okay? What about the MSR then? It fits in the MSR.
I don't know. I don't know. These are the ones that I know for a fact that it doesn't fit. So to me,
does the arm reach up higher? Because the one thing that somebody said like maybe it would be good for that I thought was like, oh, that's kind of an interesting idea. Is like if you have a big cave and there's like a mineral deposit like halfway up the cave wall or something, like if this Rock DS had the ability to like kind of like crane the mining head up.
Don't think it does.
Probably not, but that would have been.
But that's so Imagine territory. But sure,
it totally is.
All in all, to me, I feel like if they came up with this first, and then like few patches later, they brought up the single seater ROC as like an improvement, I think that would be okay. This way, it's like going backwards. We have a saying in Serbian, hopping from your horse to your donkey. It's like I don't know, man. That. Like it makes no sense. Why would I? And it's gonna be more expensive for sure because
Yeah.
So yeah, sorry, I did not even. Like...
What do you want to bet for purchase price? $80.
How much for ROC?
55, I think.
65.
How much did they sell that the new Cyclone for? It was $85. It's going to be $80. It's going to be 80 at least, I would say.
Wasn't Cyclone 70? Warbond?
I thought it was 85.
85, yeah. But Warbond, it was like 70 or 75, I think. If we're talking Warbond, I don't know. It could be 100, man.
I bet you. If it's oh my god, if it's 100.
Here's why, because it's gonna be like. And here's another thing. I did a whole YouTube video on this, where if your pledge is only ROC, you get an Aurora with it, so you can like fly it. And I did the whole video about how you can have only this and make your way up to buy a ship without having anything else. And what will this give you? Like Aurora? Like, how do you fly with 2 people in the Aurora? Like, it needs to give you 2-seater, I guess, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's bad.
Yeah, I really thought that was a troll. Like when Star Citizen leaks, or when I saw the first leak of it, and I was like, "There's no way that's real."
We're getting 400i, but this is a troll, right?
Turns out it's real.
Yeah.
Anyways,
wait. One more good thing about it.
I don't like it. Pirates
will be able to steal more cargo from it than from the regular ROC.
Good, perfect. Yeah, that's good. It was good for piracy gameplay.
Yes.
Just not in the way you think.
Yep. All right. Do you want to continue with your rant, or sorry, I interrupted you with ROC, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really much of a rant. It's just that, like even from some of the bigger kind of content creators, I've been basically hearing, guys, there's not much to this patch and it's not super interesting so far. Salty Mike, not surprising. Morphologist, though, also saying like,
Yeah.
I've seen, a bunch of people basically saying it's kind of the same old, which It's to be expected because again, there wasn't really anything that looked particularly good, and whether or not it actually and honestly too, well, this is something that remains to be seen because we're still in PTU. But from what I've heard too, the
That's
performance
what I was about to say. Like frame rate is
isn't even really
gross.
better. So
But again, it's
I guess we'll
PTU.
see. At any rate, like I said, I mean, I will be jumping into 313, but uh, not, from the sounds of things, it's kind of just kind of trucking on. So yeah,
Okay, so before I start like digesting 313 PTU, do not, I repeat, do not choose New Babbage as your spawn point. The reason for this is not trains, believe it or not. It's the hangars. The hangars don't open. You get the permission to take off from the operator from ATC, but nothing opens and you're stuck there.
this is happening in a couple different places. Hey,
Yeah,
over the last couple patches.
and like you have a chance to spawn, but it's like a risk you're taking, and it's already so. If you need, this is a big problem because all the components for Pew Pew gameplay, which with new shields a lot of people want to try, are in New Babbage. So what you have to do, you have to spawn like Hurston, and then fly to New Babbage, land near the garage, go through garage, buy the components, and then you can like hold backspace to spawn back in Hurston.
Right.
And I know
Yeah,
this is, but this is one of those things that if you're a little bit experienced or experienced player, you will know how to deal with this. But if you're a new player, so yeah, so here's a tip from us to you. If
Yeah.
you're playing PTU, that's how you do it. It'll take a bit of time, and then you might have to reset your account, and then you might have to do it again. And yeah, it sucks. It is
We'll
what it is.
see. We'll see, though. I mean, it's still early PTU.
No, this PTU, I don't
So
think this
it
will
is
go to live.
interesting.
I don't think this will happen on live.
Well, I mean, it has before, so
Sure.
but it is interesting that this keeps popping back up. I'm really curious what's going on with like what's going on in the background. Like what in the coding is making these
returning issues, right?
Yeah, like specifically this one, like with the hangars not opening and stuff like that. Like I'm genuinely curious. Like it is interesting.
I don't know. I'm not a dev, so but it is kind of strange. But there might be a reason. I don't know. I mean, it'd be cool if they would explain it. Like, hey guys,
Yeah.
this is why this is happening. I mean,
this is one of the situations where I wish Bug Smashers was back.
This is something I haven't watched, but someone asked Zylo if it's coming back, and he said it's coming back at some point.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he
that
loves
like
it.
Bug Smashers was one of the reasons, or one of the things that they used as evidence in the Crytek lawsuit, because there was in one of these scenes they actually had showed some proprietary code apparently.
Well, here's the thing.
So
like
I didn't think
he
it was gonna
said,
come back.
well, they can do it where they don't show the code, right?
True. Yeah,
he said he loves it and he would love to see it back, but I don't know, obviously, if that's gonna happen. But like he,
To be fair, I never usually watched it, but it would be interesting,
now
to actually have Mark Abbott kind of like just do a synopsis of like, this is this bug, it keeps coming up, this is why, like,
and maybe a suggestion of how to avoid it.
Showing the actual fix of the bug, like, yeah. Anyways,
cool. Okay, so the first thing when it dropped the PTU patch, which kind of dropped, I did not expect it, but I was happy to see it. And I was watching. I immediately, when this happens, if I don't feel like playing the game, and I never play PTU, so I jump on Twitch and see who's streaming, and I watch a couple of streamers that night. It actually made me stay up until like 7 a.m. because a lot of new things are being discovered, and I'm like, I like chit-chatting with these people because they're cool. Like I was in Noodles, Captain Burks, Cutlet, like I just go around and like talk to them, like, what do you think about this? And they're like, and it's so funny. I asked everyone the same question. So for me, and this is why I'm starting with this whole story, because my first thing was Armistice Zone being extended in Port Olisar, where if you jump to Port Olisar, you are immediately in the armistice zone, which is like 12 kilometers or something like that, which is the same effect that you have in Lorville. Now, my first perspective was from Noodle, who already is irritated because PvP is in a bad state, and the only place that they
Yeah.
had some fun was PO, and now they can't have. So he was very irritated. He was like, "That's it. I'm gonna go and kill everyone who spawns on Eros Harbor now because." Yeah, it's
Yeah.
clunky and low FPS, but what else do I do, you know?
Exactly. Yeah.
And I don't necessarily care if PO has zone or not, but the fact that it wasn't in the patch notes was really frustrating to me. And then when I talked to the other two, they were like, yeah, I mean, it's a statement from CIG that they don't want, and that's the thing. Like, this is a statement. We don't want to have, PvP around the air. I know. Just let me like the train of thoughts is there. Like, where I was like, it's a big thing. Like, if you change this, it's a big thing that you should address. Like, it just does. Okay,
Yeah.
we don't want you to fight around Port Olisar, and this is why we're extending the armistice zone. However, you told me that you found out that
Yeah.
it might be a
Apparently,
bug.
yeah. I can't remember who it was. Somebody on Twitter basically got in contact with one of the CIG devs, Bayer, I think, and they actually confirmed that it was not intended. It was a bug. So
Okay.
this is still hearsay at this point. So we'll
Yeah.
have to see if it shows up in the like bug fix patch notes at some point. But yeah, apparently that was not intended, and that was a bug in PTU. So
I feel like it was intended, and then because of the outcry, they changed the
possible.
idea. We don't know,
It's
obviously.
possible. But
Cutlet
yeah,
had a
remains
good
to be
take
seen.
on it that I liked, kind of, which was, but again, the communication is the only problem here for me. But like he said, but listen, every major landing zone has it, right? So if you go to New Babbage, you're immediately in Armistice. If you go to Lorville, same. If you go to Arcorp, same. We don't have his way of pronouncing Orison. Is he? I don't remember now, but I love it. We don't have Orison.
I haven't heard it, I don't think.
I never like that was the first time for me. I was like, I was confused, like what? And then I was like, oh, okay, it makes sense. I love listening to Kyle. He's amazing, but his ideas are so. And here's a good reasoning. Like he said, well, listen, right now this is the major landing zone for Stanton. Sorry, Crusader.
Crusader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the moment we get Orison, basically they will remove it from PO and have it there. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense in a way.
Yep.
You want a major hub where people can compose themselves before they start doing something. Yeah, if it's a bug, it's okay. I'm never, like, that's okay. It happens. It just would be nice if they would be like, hey, we made a mistake here and that's it. Or we want
Yeah.
this, that's just for me, it's always communication. I can.
That's what most of these issues come down to, and frankly, because they've kind of got such a poor track record of communicating this stuff they should communicate, it makes sense that you'd be kind of like skeptical about
Mm.
whether or not this actually was a bug or whether it was something that they kind of put through without communicating.
I mean, in the end, doesn't
And again,
matter. Whatever, right? But
no, and again, like for anybody listening, I mean, I acknowledge repeatedly whenever we talk about communication here that like to an extent the community is to blame because of how frequently they overreact
I
when
agree with that.
CIG does try to communicate.
Because
Um
yeah, you get blamed either
well,
way. So why just not
sure.
do the
And
right thing? That's always my
yeah,
idea.
well, and ultimately, I mean, instead of shutting up and being clandestine about things, like learn and do better. But anyways,
Yeah.
communication, yeah, it's something that I don't think they've really hit their sweet spot on yet.
Yeah, you would think
I
after
think,
this whole time they would, but
yeah, I legitimately think they're trying, and especially now that we have like they have a community manager team, community management team, and they have a head of community management in Xylo. And now basically what I'm saying is like you have somebody at the head of communication now, and it's the same guy and has been the same guy for a while. So like I'm hoping that that kind of results in some better communication down the line. When it's one person, and it's Xylo. We know that like we know that we've heard of him interviewed a few times. Like he really is into the community, and
Gonzalo is amazing, but he got a lot
yeah,
of flack for
and
this again, and that's the problem with.
really
Oh yeah,
for what
for
the
so we had this. We talked about this, right? Like where answered a call by Salty Mike. He gathered all stars of PvP, and they talked
yep,
about the problem. And Zala was in the chat confirming that they don't want to police PvP, and we had back and forth between Xylo and community. And then this patch comes out, and you can't, you extend. And then the first thing Noodle said, which he was he was in the heat, right? Noodle is a super nice guy.
yeah,
I just want to say that, but
yeah,
he was frustrated, and that's okay. And he was immediately like, "I'm gonna delete the VOD. I'm gonna delete all clips. I don't want this to be seen as me." But and I understand it. We get emotional. We love the project, right? So it's okay.
yeah,
But he was like, Xylo seems like he's just a puppet because we just talked about this and he confirmed that, and then they went the other way. Now, if it's a bug, sure, but if it's not, it does paint Xylo as someone who doesn't have any word in the whole situation. And
any actual say in
yeah,
things. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Fair
so
enough. Remains to be
yeah,
seen. It
exactly. It's a
doesn't
hot
strike
topic
me
for
as it.
me.
Yeah, it doesn't strike me as the case because, well, I mean, it seems, at least from his perspective, that they are legitimately trying to improve their communication. You know, but it just, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah,
Ultimately, I think having one person at the head of communication and having them like stick around and be consistent is a step in the right direction, because it is very hard to have any sort of communication, any sort of consistent communication, when it's always somebody different doing it, or when like it's not necessarily any person's job necessarily. It's like whoever gets to it. So I don't know. Like yeah, I guess it just remains to be seen if this actually pans out. And I suppose, I mean, the first kind of or something that could be kind of like a work to kind of confirming whether or not this is even the case is whether or not this was a bug. Like, does this show up in
sure,
the patch notes? Is this something that Xylo addresses?
but
Is this
that's
confirmed to be a bug?
that's the root of it, is clarity of information that comes from CAG. I am firmly against. Okay, so the thing that you hear a lot from content creators in many games, especially those that have PvP, side of it, is how developers are losing their touch, when it comes to understanding what the community wants. And
Yeah,
this plague has spread to Star Citizen. It's so easy to fire that shot. It's so easy. And I am
yeah,
against this. I think they should have their own vision and they should do whatever the fuck they want to do. And we can like it or not. It's not. And this is the problem. Like, a lot of people take this as their own project and they're like, well, me and community around me, and I'm sorry, like, this is almost pointing fingers, but a lot of content creators do that, are like, we want this, and they give us something else. Where I
yeah.
kind of feel like, please, CIG, tell me what you're giving me so that I can decide if I like it or not. It's okay if I don't like it. I just want to know which direction we're going. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
that's all. It's okay if you don't like things in the game that you're, waiting for. It's fine. Can be sad, disheartening, but that it's their game. In the end, it's their game. We're just helping them build it. But yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, done.
Well, I mean, this kind of was one of the topics that I wanted to actually have as
Yeah,
a topic someday, because like they talk about, or at least Xylo talked about, like how they take suggestions and how they like put it into more of a data point form, and then kind of like use that to
digest.
kind
Yeah,
of like weigh against like what like what
Feels good, like with their own
can
idea, right? Like what sinks in, kind of, which
exactly,
is
right?
good take
So like
for me.
yeah, it was for me. It was reassuring to know that like that's how they look at it. It's not like, oh my god, people are screaming about this. Let's change it.
Yeah.
Like it's something where it's like it's more methodical than that. So at least there's that, and that's basically all I wanted to
And
say.
that's so important because yeah, I watch mostly PP content creators, and obviously they want one thing. Where, of course, someone who just wants to haul around space, they want an armistice zone because they don't want to be hunted down at the end of their journey and whatnot. And then
Mhm.
CIG has to juggle around this, and whatever they do, people will scream at them, which is normal. That's like game. That's game development,
Yeah,
right? So it's yeah. So whenever they're not like in sync with their community, it's only one side of community. Usually the other side
yeah.
is satisfied, and yeah, it is what it is. Okay.
Hopefully they can find the balance.
I mean, they will find some kind of a balance that works for them, and then some people will keep crying and playing, and some people will stop crying and stop playing. You know what I mean? Okay.
Yep. Yeah, which is fair.
Um,
Yeah, where were we there?
that was all
Oh, that
armistice
was
zones. Yeah,
armistice zones, right,
that's the
right.
last drama one, right? So the okay,
Yeah.
so
Next one, the new UI for Reputation in the ECN. You're gonna have to go on that one because you told me a little bit about it. And
yeah,
it's
no,
it
just
sounded pretty.
quickly, the new UI, like visual system of the Reputation is in the game. You have a tab, you see the characters, and like little bar that shows you how good or bad standing you have with that person or organization. And then someone took the 2 ECN missions. One was like 29,000 Alpha EC, which is a lot, to help ship in distress, whatever. And they went there, and there was no ship. There was a marker, but there was no ship. And they changed the map and markers a little bit as well. They're like blinking now. You can jump without making a route on the map, which is really cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and then the map seems to be working better. It still has some issues every now and then, but it actually works much better, which I've seen
That
also a lot of
is
people
a
on Twitter.
relief.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Although we know that they're working on a new map, so but still, I mean, if you
Yeah.
can tweak it a little bit so that we can use it, it's amazing. Anyways, the ship did not spawn, and obviously they're pissed off. They took another ECN. There was only 2 ECNs, right? Took another ECN and went to another ship. It did not spawn, and while they were waiting for their ship to spawn, they had the message that they did not help the first person, whatever. So they failed the mission, which now they could visually see how their reputation is going down without, they're like, what can you do? This is so fucked up. This is so crazy. I don't know.
That's brutal, man.
Should we even have this now where you can actually see that you're losing? It's so frustrating.
I mean, I'm glad that you can see.
It's depressing. You imagine having like 5 missions and then you're like all the way like that or whatever, like.
Well, I mean, after the first one failing, or maybe the second one failing, and I'm seeing an actual reputation hit. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad I can see it, because before I might just keep trying to do it and not know that I was losing reputation the whole time. You know
I know, right? But like, what's the point of the whole reputation system if I don't know? It's crazy. Like right now, obviously, not
yeah,
not in general. I love the reputation system. Okay, so then.
Well, yeah.
You want to add on for that or anything?
Oh, well, yeah, this one specifically. Well, nothing really to add for that. I mean, besides that,
it is what it is. Maybe it will work in PU as well. Like we know, it's
exactly.
It's just
I mean, it's all PTU. Yeah. So docking is in 3.13 with some really hilarious bugs.
You know what's funny? The first docking that I've seen was Captain Burke's. He undocked from the Connie in motion in the atmosphere. It was amazing, and he flew back to it and docked. I actually made a clip, and
in
it was
motion.
Yes, and it was perfect.
Oh, cool.
And then the next time, well, they could not jump anymore. Like everything was broken after. And then the next time he tried to, they spawned a new Connie. Merlin was vertical.
Yes, that's the bug I've seen. Yeah.
So yeah, but when I saw it, I like shared it on my Discord. I was like, I sent it to Orchid because he flies Phoenix, and he was like, "Ooh, sweet!" That like I was so hyped, and then I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh no!"
Well, I mean, that's what PTU is for.
Yes, yeah.
But what I was going to say specifically was that, and this is a little bit more imagine-y, I guess, because I haven't had a chance to actually test this or ask somebody for sure. But one of the issues getting ships to dock with other ships was the ability to merge physics grids. And that's something they've said they've recently solved, obviously, because docking is working. But physics grid issues like that are also the reason that lifts are so problematic. Like cargo lifts and stuff like that. Putting a vehicle in a
They're
lift,
fixed.
like the way they like
No, they're
jank
fixed.
around all over the place. Yes, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think one of the knock-on effects of this, and again, this is just like speculating. I haven't seen
Oh,
it.
I
You say
have.
they're fixed. That's good.
I'll explain. Yeah.
Elevators, I have heard, are working a lot better,
Yes.
a lot less janky, and that I think is due to this physics grid
I can't
rework,
wait to
which
try
is
315 with
awesome.
this. And
And hopefully, that means you'll be able to do things like put boxes in a lift and not have them jank out when you pull the lift up,
yeah,
which means that the cargo lift in the Mustang could potentially be
no,
working now.
that's
The
not for that.
Nomad,
Nomad, yes.
it could be if it works on a constellation, like on the lift on a constellation with a
Yes,
vehicle
it
and stuff like
works.
that.
Mustang
Same
is,
tech.
I listened to them explaining how this is not that. It's not,
Aw,
yeah. Cargo and Mustang is different thing. But the rest,
because
yes.
mobile physics grid was kind of like the issue behind that. So in theory, then even the Nomad's lift should work
Yes.
okay with vehicles and stuff
The
like that now
reason I
too. Then
know it works now is the same stream, like Burke spawned his Connie and someone else took off with it. And then they were doing something around the station and he EVA'd into it. And I fly Connie a lot. I know, don't hate me on for that. Okay.
you can fly your own ships if you want.
Yeah. And
I mean, they're dumb and they're stupid and they're
shut up.
broken, but you
And
know,
better than fucking Drake. Okay, never mind. So I would always EVA into my ship through the what's the name? The um docking collar, right? On the
yeah.
side.
Mhm.
Because I just open it like sneak in and I'm fine. I'm gonna face plant, but I'm not gonna be screwed up by the physics grid, right? So Burks was like talking about something else and he was flying towards the obviously none of these people fly Connie, right? So they don't
Yeah.
know that they should not do this. And he's calling the lift and I'm like, no, 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 no. And then he stands on the lift and I'm
And it
like
has gravity. Yeah.
what? And he calls back and it goes smoothly up and I'm like, oh, tiny orgasm right there because I like Connie. I was like, oh
But
my
have
god.
you seen them try to put a vehicle in the
No,
lift?
but this was not doable. You would like if you would do this in like you EVA,
I
they would
remember.
like punch your legs up like all the
Yep.
time, and you
I
might die
remember.
in process or stay outside while it closes, or like holy shit.
Okay, so we still have to test for boxes and
I
vehicles
will
then on the
gladly test.
lifts.
Well, vehicles work
Sort of.
sort of. I did log off with Ursa many times and log back
No, it's
in.
not the logging off. It's that like they tend to jank around on the thing because the physics grid's not interacting
I
properly.
wonder what is like Ursa fits there so tightly. It's kind of scary in the first place. And then with all the new mechanics where you like if you brake fast or you hit something, then everything moves around. I don't know how Ursa are really affected by this and whatnot, but I'll
Supposedly,
test all this. So
if it's a grid, it's supposed to be basically essentially locked in.
that would be great.
Same thing on the cargo grid. So we'll see.
But I mean that's
Try
great news for me.
Nomad too. Yeah, try your Nomad too. Like try putting a vehicle in there or boxes in there or something because I'm really hoping that like physics grid work. And also I'm totally going to try putting something in the 315 or something with the cargo lift just to see.
All my
Cuz how
ships.
amazing would it be if it actually did work?
Yeah.
You know, like you could throw a box in the back of a Mustang and actually have the lift work.
Bro, okay. Tangent again. I love 300 series. Number one, well, they look sexy, okay, but number one reason they
Yeah.
have coffee machine that works, and I fucking use this. Like, I don't have to worry about water ever because I have my coffee machine. Actually quenches your thirst.
Yeah. No, it does actually reduce
Hunger.
the no, it reduces the like, or rather increases the
Yes.
rate at which you get thirsty again
Yes.
if you're drinking coffee.
And
But
I have a little
anyways,
fridge down there where I drop like a couple of chocolate bars or whatever.
yeah,
Oh, I love it. But when I
300 is a
started
good ship.
playing, so like the ships that I usually have are one 300, usually 315. I have Nomad is one of my LTIs. I usually have Constellation. So these are all the ships with lifts, unfortunately, right?
Mhm.
And I remember when I started playing and I bought my first 300, I was doing delivery missions and I was so amazed with the lift. And no one fucking told me in my stream that they don't work. So I tried putting it in and then try like, you lift your lift and it doesn't, it starts like whole ship starts like
Yeah.
bouncing and whatnot. I'm like, fuck. So then I was like, okay, wait. I bought 315 because it has two lifts, right? So what I did is like I would open one lift and then I would position, I would leave the first lift as a shelf and I would position the box there.
Oh yeah, and then you'd get up into it and then put it in the top.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
that
it
actually worked, hey?
no,
Wow.
it exploded my ship
Oh.
when I took off.
Okay,
And so I
okay,
tried.
never
So I
mind.
had the whole stream of like 8 hours long ago, like a year and a half ago, where I was trying to make it work. I was like, I will make it work. I couldn't make it work. So
Yeah.
I'm excited about these things, man.
I hope I hope the docking thing has a knock-on effect of solving the lifts too. I think that would be
Amazing.
wicked. And in
Should.
theory it should. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Good news.
Rock DS. Can we skip this
We
one?
already talked about Rock
We already
DS.
kind of ranted about it, yeah.
New mining components. We talked about
Mhm.
this as well a little bit. So whatever they're called, like now you set up your laser, then laser has 3 slots for, well, I think every laser, but I don't know, 3 slots for like enhancing your laser, whatever. And
Yeah,
then on top,
with
which is new,
smaller
right?
bonuses.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
I kind of like that idea, but then on top of that you have consumables.
Yeah, which are your big bonuses,
and
which I does seem pretty excessive right now. Like,
and then on top of that you
yeah.
will have to like go and attach stuff to the rock to maybe make it lose resistance or whatever. Anyways, Salty
See,
Mike is a miner and he complained about this already.
well, sort of. I read that tweet and I didn't really think it was complaining so much as, well, it was a little bit, but at
He
first
was
he
like,
was
what's the
like,
point?
he had, at the bottom he did admit that he needed to experiment with some more builds.
Yes.
So
But
experimentation was hard. It does seem excessive.
I'd be
Uh,
okay. And they confirmed that it's not like that. But if it was like, okay, you wanna just buy consumables, let's say you rent your ship and then you buy
mhm.
consumables and then you use it, um, you know, as a quick thing, whatever. But then if you have your own ship with your own laser, and then instead of buying consumables all the time, you buy these little things that enhance it, and you're good, right? That would be cool as like long-term solution instead of like just buying consumables all the time.
Right.
But no, unfortunately for me, it's like buying consumables, buying fucking enhancements, whatever, and having I don't just like, too much. I don't know.
Um, two things. The way that I kind of see this, um, the components, like subcomponents thing, is a precursor. And I said this previously on one of our shows. Um, I see this as probably more of a precursor to the fact that all of your components are going to
So
have subcomponents that are modifiable. So So I think
Almost like a
this
test
is
bed.
probably just yeah, I don't know why they chose to do it with mining
Because
specifically, but
how come?
okay, sure.
Well, because it's already so established as a
I mean, I
profession, you
guess,
know.
but so are shield generators. Everybody has shield generators. Why couldn't you done shield generators first? But
You know what's funny? I
anyways,
think more people are invested into mining than even understanding that they can like change the power of certain shield their ship.
maybe.
Like currently
Though
as the
honestly,
gameplay.
if you are a miner, you absolutely should be building a stealth build for your
And
prospector.
don't
Like,
use
what are you
lights
even doing?
in the dark.
Yeah, yeah. Like, if you want to avoid being targeted, make yourself as close to invisible as possible. And the only way you're doing that is by customizing your components.
Yeah.
So if you're not doing that, do that.
And
But
it's
anyways,
nice to get like you get more of a connection to your ship when you build it your way. Then once you
that is
have the
true.
build, you know, like you might tweak it a little bit, but like you will know upon reset. So I have to go and buy these 3 components. I actually
Mhm.
want to talk about that just quickly because we touched about it. Man, why can't we have all components in any station right now? Just right now.
Same reason. The same reason that they scattered all of the different armor pieces, FPS armor pieces, all over the universe, and that is that they want people traveling around. I am not going to defend this because I think it's nonsensical. Like, I am okay with,
Bro, when the
I don't
game
know.
comes out, sure. But in
I'm okay
alpha,
with them splitting things up to like 3 different locations. But like, don't have some available at a rest stop, some available, like if it's just the main hubs that you have to go to, I don't know. I'm more okay with that because then at least it's only 3 stops. You know what I mean? 3 stops maximum. But like, there's some at Port Olisar, and there's some at Grimhex, and there's some at this R station, rest station, and then there's Center Mass at
New Babbage or
Area
whatever.
18, and then there's Center Mass at New Babbage, and then there's like there's Dumpers Depot and um God, what's the name? Another place at Hurston, anyways.
I don't mind them splitting it any way they want. But right now, when sometimes in one session I have to reset my account 3 times,
There is that. There
please
is
just
that.
put it all in every place as a placeholder for. I don't want to waste 10 hours to just set up my ship, dude.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
That's something it's rough, especially for you because you've had such issues with
I lose
persistence. Whereas like
components. Yeah, I have to like.
I I occasionally have to go rebuy a component, but it's definitely not a regular thing for me, which is probably why I'm like, it doesn't really matter,
Well,
you know?
yeah, but look at like PTU for example. You have
Oh yeah,
right,
yeah.
and that's like Noodle lost. He was like, I'm ready to. It's the PTU patch day, and one of your biggest streamers is like, after I was watching in 3 hours straight trying to set up his arrow. How stupid is that? Because he has to. He was so he tried spawning a new Bobbage and he
Oh,
succeeded.
okay.
Then he had an issue. He had to reset his character. Then he spawned a new Bobbage. It did not spawn. Then he had to reset his account because he's locked there. So he spawned
Right.
in Hurston. Then the 30k on the way to New Babbage, he spawned in Hurston.
Right.
Three
Okay, well,
hours.
I will say that for PTU especially, like in
There's no
PTU,
reason,
absolutely,
man. Like just
yeah, yeah,
whatever,
is what it is.
dude. So stupid.
The other aspect of the mining components that I was going to say, just to return to the original um, topic was again like I said, first I think it's because they're planning on putting them in everywhere, and secondly, I don't know. Actually, you know what? No, I lost it. Never,
I
never
guess
mind. It's
you
gone.
go for more of your custom build that is different than like everyone else's, or you can have there'll be meta always, but like
Yeah,
it's I don't know.
it depends on what you're going after. Like I like the idea that you can just have a static build that is like designed to go after specific types of rocks and stuff like that.
You know what'd be cool if
Yeah.
you have and Prospector has a lot of it. To be fair, Prospector has one of, to me, really one of the best interiors for the size of the ship. I like the area before you enter the cockpit, and then obviously cockpit is beautiful, right?
It's a big bubble.
Yeah, but I mean visibility is amazing. That's what I'm saying. Well, if you could have 2 or 3 different mining heads in your ship stored,
Oh, so you could
you can
like
switch.
install them on the
Yeah, even
fly.
if you have to like get out and like change it physically, because I don't think
Yeah,
you'll do
you
this
would.
many times. But let's say today you're mining gold because there's high demand in pyro for the gold, whatever, you know what I mean, like, and then 3 days later they need laranite, so you change your, why not? Like, it would make sense to me. I wonder if they're gonna do. And then you have different like components in there. You're mining for years. You are the miner.
I think that you'll be able to do that, but whether or not you'll be able to store it on the ship, I don't know. Those lasers are not small.
They're not that big either. Like, they fit into stands in refinery. You can see how big they are.
Yeah,
Come on, we're
yeah,
flying
that's true.
spaceships, man. Like, it's not. There should be enough space there. Fuck, let me just put it on the floor. There's, there's a lot of space there. Anyways,
Just put it on the floor on one side of the cockpit.
cockpit, yeah,
Just
there's a
have it
lot.
rattle around there.
Okay, so there. Anyways, these are in the game right now. You can test them on PTU. If not, you can wait for PU like us and test it there if you're interested in mining. We got new caves. You can fly through a lot of them.
I haven't really seen them besides people memeing on the Suez Canal meme by jamming their carracks into the entrances and
yeah.
getting stuck. But
Well, we watched
yeah,
one just before the thing. Terada is going
yeah, it was
through it.
kind of neat. Looked just like a regular cave, but like there was bad guys in
Yeah,
there, so there's that.
an
I
FPS
guess
mission.
it did look pretty sweet with like the 3 of them going through the
True.
cave, with like flashlights and stuff like that. That was pretty cool.
Most of the people play Star Citizen solo, but it really, and I'm one of those people. It stresses me out to like set up the group and everything, especially when especially because you can set up the group for a long time and then you get the 30k or someone crashes or it's
Yeah,
so annoying.
yeah.
But it really like the game really excels when it's 2 or 3 people, them running through the cave and whatnot. So we have new caves with missions in them, FPS missions. The caves did not provide what I was hoping for, which
What were
was
you hoping for again
Jump Town.
specifically? Oh, yeah.
So some really like unrealistically huge mineable, stuff in there so that, someone can, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So people can
I'm not
protect that or, go in with protection but they didn't bring anything. Maybe later.
I'm not surprised.
No,
But
I'm not
yes,
surprised either.
hopefully
I
later.
was just hoping for it, that's all.
Well, especially because like even if it's just simply mining, like caves, like those sinkhole caves are places where you get like a lot of exposed high value minerals or something like that. Like that's enough to make those caves a flashpoint,
Yeah.
Miners are going to go there, which means that people who are looking to kill people are going to go there, which means
Yeah.
that the miners are going to bring protection, or the miners might bring you know friends along because any other miner who's there
Exactly.
they want to
Protect
they
your
want to
territory.
kill.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah,
And then
I
split the goods. It would be cool. Maybe one day, I don't know.
that would be cool. Maybe one day.
And now we get to a point where I'm gonna be negative. Oh man, delivery missions, the new ones. I haven't seen. I couldn't catch anyone doing them, and the reason is from what you've said probably is that they're just not lucrative again.
Again, this just
PTU,
was
right?
kind of where my initial statement up there in our notes where I said underwhelming patches, underwhelming surprised face. It's just again something I was hearing from, I think it was morphologists saying that basically, like the delivery missions were a letdown because they're not profitable because they take too long. Cave missions again, not profitable. But specifically delivery missions, yeah, apparently they just, like the quantum sensitive ones take too long and they don't pay enough.
And
Um,
this breaks our theory that they are buffing up the stuff that they want tested. Because
yeah. But the caveat there, and I said this in the pre-show as well, this wouldn't be the first time where mission payouts have changed from PTU to live.
I
So
would
there's still
tell you
hope.
something though. And I'm not trying to confront you because I don't know. I haven't been playing enough and paid attention to this specific topic to have an opinion. But Salty Mike said that that never happened. Sorry, or
Since
Noodle.
when?
I'm not sure. And because someone was saying, oh, maybe they will change the armistice zone from PTU, and he was like, I, well, he was pissed and all that, but like he literally
He's being busy. Unfortunately, there's been multiple situations where like the mission payouts have changed from PTU to live.
okay. Well,
Like,
that gives me
but I
hope.
mean, we'll see. We know that CIG incentivizes areas they want tested
Well, that we
by
think we know.
buffing them.
That's what I'm saying.
Well,
If they
it's
don't do it this time, then
well,
they're just randomly doing stuff with numbers.
how do you justify PVE bounty missions being as lucrative as they were over the last patch? Why else would they have buffed them that much?
I agree.
And again, if they want, if they want people to play deliveries and they leave bounty missions paying, like 80 grand, you know, for one mission, like obvious, I don't know.
Well, listen,
Anyway,
I
yeah.
think bounty hunting should in an PvP should be actually PP should be paid much more than what it is. But it's like maximum 20,000.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. But so I think the delivery missions would be less, but time investment. Like I can't do 4 stops and struggle with 3 different packages in an Aurora or whatever starting ship for 8,000. That's just humiliating and not a good gameplay loop. So now if I'm flying around with like, you know, sensitive cargo or something, that has, because now it brings an element of failure, or
Yeah.
I don't need it to be 80,000 like permission, but it needs to be meaningful. And also
Well,
here's another fear, Maso. Why did they kill certain parts of the game? Like they killed trading. Either it was a mistake or they didn't want people to trade. And I really hope that it was just a coincidence, or like someone did something wrong, accidentally. But they also killed delivery missions, which to me is mind blowing because that's the starter loop, and then promoted what's the name? Uh, bounty hunting missions. You
yeah,
don't have to bury every other gameplay to promote one,
that is true. Yep.
And I'm afraid that now if they want to promote this and cave missions, well, maybe bounty hunting will be back at like you get like 1,000 per bounty or something. In that case, you know what, man? If they are doing this on purpose like that, I I might stop playing for
I
the time
think,
being because that's very annoying
well,
to me.
yes, I agree. I agree 100%. Like they shouldn't be burying everything else to focus testing where they want. And honestly, if they want to do that, they should be using Evocati. That's literally what Evocati is for, is focused testing. If you want to really focus testing on something, use your Evocatis. You know, uh, while I will also say that like the amount of pay that we're getting right now in for our missions in this current state of the alpha,
Too high.
it doesn't really matter.
Huh? Oh, like in general, I thought you were talking about the. Sorry. I did not understand you. I thought you were talking about like bounty hunting missions compared to other stuff, where you're
Oh,
saying
no, I
like
just
the
mean in
money in
general.
general because people are getting money
Well,
too fast.
the, the the payouts that we're getting right now are irrelevant, really. Like it's not going to be anywhere close to to what we see endgame, at least as far as we've understood. And we see that evidenced by the fact that they changed them so
Oh
drastically,
yeah,
apparently
the
arbitrarily.
whole economy
Um,
is just
yeah.
YOLO.
So, but
Either we will
I
earn
guess where
less, or
I'm,
the ships and components will be much more expensive, right? So
yeah, yeah. I think that at the end of the day, delivery mission, yeah, I'm hoping that we see a change of delivery missions to a point where they are at least something that people can do and not feel like they're wasting their time.
we
I'm
had
still
them
holding
better.
out for that. I'm still holding out for that because we definitely did. Yeah. Like especially the old style delivery missions, like where you could stack like multiple deliveries and then go kind of run them all.
The new Babbage
Um
roof deliveries were so fucking good from all around the
yeah.
place, and then they
But at
just
the end
shut
of
it
the day,
down.
basically all I'm saying is like it could still change. I would say it's likely that it'll still change, but yeah. Um I guess cross our fingers and hope.
It's so sad.
But
So a lot of people try doing bounty hunting now, and from my community, and now that's their thing. Like they discovered that they like pew pew in space, where before they were only hauling.
mm,
But and for me, I was doing bounty hunting before, so for me this was just a boost in economy. Doesn't matter. I mean, it's okay, but
mhm.
removing a gameplay loop like this from me is always so
Wow.
it's so
It's
bad,
a
man.
terrible idea.
Yeah,
It's a terrible idea because if you like they clearly value people playing the game. That's why they trotted out those statistics where they said, there's more people kind of like playing, the gameplay time is increasing and stuff like that. Well, if you want to keep that way, you need to have a variety of things for people to do because as much as I love pew pew in space, I don't always feel like pew pewing in space. And right now, in the current state of the game, outside of 313 anyways, that's really all you can do. Like trading's busted,
you can do
deliveries are
mining,
not worth
but
your
even that
time.
is
It's busted because what do you do with your minerals
well, you
after you're
can
done?
sell them raw.
I guess. But like, like if you want to keep me in the game, I want to be able to do all those things because I don't want to be stuck doing one thing. So I'm hoping that this last thing was an anomaly because honestly, it's the first time that's really happened where they've
It's not.
like literally no, they've nerfed things before, but they haven't nuked everything except for like one gameplay. That's never happened before. Um so yeah, I'm hoping that delivery missions are, not a waste of time. And in the next point down in our thing here, I hope that cargo trading is fixed as well.
It looks like it
I
is,
haven't heard anything about that. I heard that it was still broken, but that was from Cutlet, and he was trying to trade drugs. So
but that's
it's
drugs.
not
Yeah, but
exactly.
Board
Yeah.
Gamer actually tested cargo trading, and he said it's
Oh, he
working.
did.
And this is very important for Cutlet as well and other pirates, because if people are not hauling goods, there's
Yep.
nothing for ransom, there's nothing to destroy and collect
Yep.
cargo, and yeah, so this is very, very important. So yeah, I hope it is again PTU. So for those who tested, it worked. Uh, UI illumination, which is something we
Oh
discovered just
yeah, that was cool.
before the show, and actually showed it. So basically, if you go to Reddit, one of the first posts right now as we are making the show, but I'm sure you're gonna be finding it out. Like basically on I don't know if it's for all the ships, but basically constellation lighting inside is better. Plus the UI will react to the light sources. Like if you
So
turn, or go for it.
your heads up display when you're like panning towards a source of light like the star will automatically brighten so that you can see it even against that super
Yeah.
bright background, which is like we've been asking for this forever and it's cool to see it finally start coming in. But I think you said it was only the Connie, hey?
That's based on the Reddit comment, so we don't know.
Mm,
It's people just discovering new things, and that's why like we're kind of in loop with these things always, because both of us are just hungry for information when it comes to Star Citizen, as a lot of you guys are as well, I'm sure. So
yeah.
Yeah, so take all this with grain of salt. This is confirmed because we saw that. Well, I mean, unless someone had such an abundance of time to like edit something like that, even though it's not true, but I don't think so. Um, and another great addition is Gladius. Well, I want to hear your take on this because you just watched the whole thing before the show.
Um, wow.
Yeah,
Like I knew that they were okay. So Gladius, for those who don't know, went through a gold standard pass, which means it's basically in the state that it is considered like release worthy. It's basically what you will be seeing in Squadron 42. Man, the detail in like everything, all the different compartments that open up, diagnostic compartments for like your what they call them, relays and stuff like that, the component housings and stuff like that, all
there's so many
openable
things to open
in
and close
313. Yeah.
on
And
Gladius.
it's not even just like in the bigger ships where it's like you push the button, it opens, and you see the component in there. Man, there's ones where you like it pops open the top, and then the cords like or the connectors like pull apart from it, and then the shield generators like pop up on like this raised.
Yes,
Oh my
and
god,
there's food
so
compartment.
cool, so detailed. Yeah, like the rifle component too, or compartment where it
No,
like
the
folds
rifle
out from
one's
the.
old. I don't know if you knew that, but you had it in last cup. That was the first one that they added on the side,
Hmm.
and they also have this on Talons. But now they added everything else to the Gladius, even the
Hmm.
fuel scoop or whatever.
Oh yeah, that's right. The refueling port,
Yeah,
which is on the ass of the plane.
which is well, we talked about this, but like, yeah,
Yeah,
uh, yeah, definitely. If you don't have it, maybe ask someone in PU to spawn it so you can go around and check. Holy moly, there's a lot. Like there's on the
yeah.
sides, there's like under the ship. But if you
It's,
hop on the ship, there's three components. I
it's
think on
incredible.
top.
It is incredible.
Very
But
detailed, beautiful.
like you were saying earlier, kind of big oof when you think about them having to do that for like every ship. Oh man.
Especially some ships. Like
I think
I fly.
yeah.
What's the name? Hawk.
Mhm.
I mentioned it, and both of us kind of laughed at like how the fuck do you even do this on Hawk? You know what I mean?
I don't know. I mean, on the plus side, size 1 components are very small, it turns out.
I know, but
Um,
things have to like open and come out,
yeah.
and that
Well,
ship is.
that's where I'm like, the thing that makes me worried, quote, or oh well, not quote worried, but like a little worried, anyways, is that like the big ships and the newer ships were
Easy.
designed with
Yeah.
this in mind, right? So they already have all the component housings, all the doors. Most of them work already, actually. Um, but like some of the older ships,
I mean, some of those
that's
ships were changed already. Like Titan, you have all the housing inside already where you
hmm.
sleep. Um, it looks like
Well, you have some of
microwave.
it. Is it every
I
component?
think it is. Yeah, it looks like a microwave, but it has size one
Two shield
components. Yeah,
generators,
but they're small.
2 coolers. Yeah, but, like, where are the compartments, right? Like,
They
are
are.
they outside the ship?
No,
Are
no,
some of
inside,
them
inside,
outside of the ship?
inside. Where you sleep, you
Um,
can see like things that can open and whatnot, but you can't use them. I mean, even some of them have like what it is on them already.
mm,
Or like, let's say Vanguard, you can remove the stairs and then like jump drive is under and stuff like that.
mhm.
Like most of them, but some ships, like let's take Saber for example. I can see Saber easily being, because it's a lot of flat surfaces and like Gladius. You can in Gladius
Yeah,
you
there's a
wouldn't
lot of room
think,
to work there.
right? But there's a lot of like you. Are you surprised at how many things there are on Gladius now? It's like a small, like,
Yeah,
right, and it doesn't look like it was designed for it, but obviously it
but,
was,
like,
right?
even on the big ships, though, like, putting in all the different, like, the different power relay, like, hatches and stuff like that, like, oof. Like, trying to think of, like, doing that on a Carrack or, uh, an
And
older
I
ship,
I
the
think that's gonna be done through like something like MFD rather than physically.
I don't
I
know. They did say that, like, you'd have to go and, like, physically repair relays that were blown out.
sure, but I don't think
That
you will
that
be
that
able
means you
to.
have to be able to access them somehow,
I could be like MFD minigame or something.
maybe.
We'll see.
I don't know.
But Hawk,
We will see. Yeah,
I
gonna be a lot of work.
you know what I can't wait to see? Buccaneer or something like that.
Oh my god, car to all.
Okay, so for that,
Where are those
well,
components even?
who knows? Or Banu Merchant Man, or like they eat them. I don't know.
Defender, yeah.
Like you put it in front of the shit, it's like
Nom 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 nom. Good power plant.
Yeah. Feed once a day. Okay, so I mean that's really cool. If you haven't seen it, there's a lot of videos on YouTube as well. So if you can't have someone spawn it for you, or you have your own, yeah, just Google Gladius 313 PTU. Sorry, search it on YouTube, and there's a bunch of videos already because it just looks so good. You're gonna be surprised. I just hope that the pirate version is. I don't want to like open the red ship and then it's like green inside. But it's okay. I mean, those things. I don't know. I'm just like, yeah, yeah. Okay, the last.
It is Drake, so who knows? Like,
Yeah. The last thing that we have in the news is new helmets. Woo! We have split opinions here.
I didn't even know that there were new helmets.
It's not only a helmet; it's a
I
full
don't-
suit that is actually a cat.
Yeah, I just don't pay attention. I just don't pay attention to armor. But yeah, no, okay. So this one, it's like it looks like it's Star Kitten themed, where the helmet literally has cat ears on it, and I just think like, why not? Why not? Like more diversity, more people wearing random shit. Go for it. You know, like people wear random shit today.
I
Now
come
fast
from
forward 900 years in the future.
come from the game called Elder Scrolls Online, and fucking Khajiit and cats, and I love cats in real life, but like, I don't know, man.
Some people are furries.
Yeah, I guess we go.
I don't know.
I'm not.
I just
I'm
like
not like shaming it. Or just like
I will
don't
say though, you are right. When you start getting like more of these kind of like we had this conversation
yeah,
before the
and
show.
that's the thing.
When you have more of these like show off items or whatever in the game, it just gets to a point where like when you're wandering through a city, like in WoW for example, it's like everybody's just wearing their most random shit.
Yeah.
You know?
And some of
Which
these are
I
too
don't know.
crazy for me. Like if it was only this cat helmet, whatever. But I get really annoyed by a big Halloween bear mask or whatever the fuck that is.
Yeah. Yeah,
and
I can see that, but yeah.
I just want to punch
guess
it in the face, like, and smash it. Or
I guess in the end, I hope that those items are a little bit more limited, and that it's not really something that you start seeing everywhere. Like everybody's wearing their random shit. But I don't know. Like I'm torn because at the same time, I'm just kind of like, you know what? Fuck it. Who cares? Let people wear what they want to wear. You know, like it's an MMO. That's part of the game.
the one that crosses the line for me is definitely the one with the parasite, and because it's kind of a realistic game, sorta.
Yeah.
And then you have this parasite on your head that is just a joke, but for someone who doesn't know what this shit is, I can't wait for someone to like use it with their friend who is new to the game, and the friend turns around and just blows them their head.
Totally just
really,
shoots
why
them.
the fuck did you kill me? You had a fucking parasite on your or self-destruct or something like that. Fuck. Yeah, I don't know these things. I don't like it, but you know what? I don't have to like everything. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And that concludes the news. Holy shit, it was just an hour and a half.
That was a lot more news though than I thought there was going to be this week, to be honest. Because like I was kind of like, I kind of threw some notes down there initially, and like after I threw a few notes, I was like, I don't know. What else?
I'm happy that there's a lot of things to talk about, because I mean we can always come up with topics.
Yeah.
Because it's Star Citizen, and we can always talk about stuff for a long time. But it's
Speaking
nice
of topics,
when game feeds us.
I remembered what I was going to, or one of the things I was going to talk about for Imagination Station, but we'll save that for next week.
No, we can do that now.
I wrote it down this time.
Okay, sure. It doesn't matter.
All
right.
I want to talk to you a little bit about it beforehand, anyways.
Okay, cool.
But yeah.
So,
as for what we did in game, that's the next section that we usually do. I don't think you played You played a little bit. I had a busy week. I didn't really get to play many games this last week, which kind of sucked. But because I
No,
have a big garden and we're putting in our cold weather crops right now,
which is amazing.
so that's basically what I've been working on, prepping garden stuff.
I've been
Because I like food.
I've been cargo hauling, but in
Mm.
Euro Truck Simulator.
Oh yeah.
And
I I had a moment in Valheim, which was kind of a fun story.
go for it, go for
Um,
it. It is fun.
but yeah, so I was moving one of my bases to a new location, and in Valheim you can't take ore or refined metals through portals. You have to, like, they won't
Physically.
let you go through the portals with them, so you have to like physically load them into a ship and ship them. And so I loaded up like a ton of the metals that I had and stuff like that. My ship was really heavy, and I'm sailing past a place where I know that there's a shallow reef, and I'm like, staying well clear or whatever.
You even
And
marked it on a map. That's what you told me.
I
Like
did
you
mark it
know
on the
it's
map.
there.
Yeah, I was like, I know it's there because like in rough seas, if you're going through that, you will run aground. But anyways, sailing, and then I hear the bellowing of a sea serpent, and I look over, and sure enough, the sea serpent is basically on the other side of me, so I'm basically between it and this reef, loaded with a ton of metal. And then the wind shifts, and I lose the wind. And I'm like, fuck. That was definitely a butthole clenching moment, because my only options at that point were try to continue forward under ore power, which wouldn't have been enough to outrun that sea serpent. I would have gotten launched, or turn into the wind and hope to God I get over that reef without running aground. So yeah,
And you made
I
it.
did. I did. I made it. It was a near thing. I got chomped once by the sea serpent, but thankfully the seas weren't too rough, and I managed to get over that reef. But it was like, whew, that was my intense video game moment of the week. Like I said, I haven't got to play much this week, so that
This
was
man, I want this
highlight.
stuff in Star Citizen. For me, I did start one of my streams. I played a lot of GeoGuessr again, and I started one of my streams with Star Citizen. Did not last long. I did one trading route with my caterpillar, just scrap, made whopping 9,000 alpha UC, and then I was like, well, money is not working anyways for now for me, so I
Yeah.
just did one instead of like doing delivery mission. I did the one where you like collect poop all over the place. What's the name? For
Waste.
waste, yeah, for 3,000. Holy shit! It was like 9 or 10 boxes, and I was in 315p. But it was kind of fun because these are not in armistice zone, so I could like use my what's the name,
Oh, your tractor
tractor
beam.
beam.
I didn't realize you couldn't use that in.
And then
Huh.
when I got all of that, and I like took off with all the boxes in 315, I opened the door and I shoved one by one through the door, and then I closed it, took off my helmet, had a sip of coffee that I just brewed in my ship, and logged off in the ship. And it was short, but I liked 315 for this. And then yesterday we did we continue with the raid on in Destiny 2, which is we had so many, because a lot of people who I play this with are actually playing Star Citizen. No surprise, because it's my Twitch community kind of. So the raid is happening on the satellite above, man-made satellite above Europa, and then you end up being in a spaceship that is being destroyed, and you escape in pods and whatnot. So the whole, and it's very complex and all that. But it was like, I remember like we were running back from the from the fire and everything, like running into these pods, and I was like, no, someone actually said, I remember. Man, imagine if MSR had escape.
Yeah.
It's fun
Just
because
throwing
it's
that
all in
shade.
space, right? And we are all like Star Citizen people, so yeah, it's fun. Yeah, but yeah, I hope. What do you think? When do you think 315 will actually hit live? Like roughly,
313. I don't know. It's
like a
still wave
week or
one,
so,
so
week, 2 weeks, maybe.
I'm gonna say 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's how I
That's
feel as
that's what
well.
I think. Because they'll have to go to wave two still, and then they'll have to open it up to everybody. And yeah, I would say 2 weeks,
Yeah, that's when I'm
maybe
gonna hop
maybe
in.
even more.
I mean, definitely I'm gonna test all the little bits and pieces. There's gonna be a lot of gameplay there,
Sure.
but then if I'm
Yeah.
gonna stay there, I really miss staying in the game.
Oh, you know what I thought of too, just with respect to the delivery missions and like whether or not they actually pay well. Reputation could be a factor in that as well.
It looks like it's
So
not
like,
yet. That's what I was
really?
hoping
Oh,
for.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was gonna say maybe that's why delivery missions weren't profitable, is because like you're doing the scrub missions.
That would be amazing. Like I'd be okay
Yeah.
cleaning poop, going into, same system deliveries, going into interplanetary
Yeah.
deliveries to
Yeah.
something even, quantum fucking whatever, because now they trust me or whatever. That would be, I've been getting like paid more, but I
Totally.
guess not yet. Um, okay, topic.
I like the title of
The
this topic.
title of the topic is Tropic. The title of the topic is How Drake Are Drake Ships Actually? The reason I brought this up, first of all, it's fun because Maso is a huge Drake enthusiast. He has it tattooed on his butt. I'm kidding. And I really like you kind of like Drake, right?
Yeah, I okay, yes. To be clear, I have nothing against Drake. I like their design aesthetic, like for what it is. I wouldn't say I'm a Drake fanboy. I currently don't have any Drake ships, but like I think they're cool
Funny, I do.
and like
You don't have Caterpillar?
nope,
Oh wow.
nope. I have a C2 and a BMM.
Okay.
So I have caterpillars, but they're not actually
Yeah, the
caterpillars.
same way I have it.
Yeah. Um but yeah, so basically I'm not opposed to Drake. I like them for what they are, but I wouldn't call myself a fanboy.
Okay, the real reason why this crossed my mind today was because I think yesterday or a few days ago, someone made a tweet that was brought to my attention where there was Yugo, which is Serbian-made car with like attached Drake guns on it and engines and all that. And someone, and this is so funny because I did this already in a video, and my community was like, "Dude, didn't you make video like this already for one of the Drake shows?" I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna claim copyright on this shit. But all jokes aside, I was like, I like that stuff. It's kind of cool. But yeah, so this is not a topic of us liking or disliking Drake. I mean, we're gonna be there for sure in that territory. But as of right now, so Drake ships are supposed to be cheap, um, lacking certain components that are not necessary for whatever you need to do, easily repairable but easily
Yeah.
destroyed as well. Safety is
Yep.
not
Death
their
traps.
first concern. You go down
No.
with your ship, or you better have helmet on. However, as of right now, if you look at it without thinking about like what Drake's supposed to be, they might as well be the best ships in the game,
Yeah.
which is really strange.
Arguably, the one kind of caveat there being, in my opinion, the Buccaneer, because the Buccaneer like has never been the best fighter and still isn't. Um,
Well.
it's not. I'm sorry, it's just not. Like
But wow, on
it hits like a
paper,
truck.
yeah. So what is not good about Buccaneer?
Well, it is a Drake ship insofar as it's flimsy. It's fast, it packs a punch, but man, that thing, if you take couple. Okay, I have to say I haven't tried it since 313 Shield Holes.
Yes, that's what I was about to say. How did we
So,
not talk about shield holes?
uh,
Where
actually, I
was
don't know. I
that?
have it down in the next section, or not next section. So we will talk. We will talk about it.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Because that's another thing that 313 brought, and we did not touch on it. That's new
Right.
shields. And
Yep.
Carmeral tested them, and there's almost no shield holes.
Yeah.
It's really
Almost no.
good
There's
though.
still a couple random spots, but
But
yeah.
they hit for like 0.1%, point zero
Yeah.
0.06%,
Yeah.
something like stupid. Yeah. So that's
Like
what I'm thinking.
anything that
Like
does hit
after
you.
now,
Yeah.
the chips are actually not penetrable by mistake. I am curious about how strong of a fighter will. Although the problem is flight model, I think for most of the ships, this is why people are flying arrows and talons
Yeah.
because they're very
Yeah.
agile.
And you can pretty much boost indefinitely with them.
But on paper, Buccaneer is a strong option.
Yes.
Same goes
Um.
for less money than most of the ships in its like I'm talking Alpha UC, not dollars.
Right.
Category. And let's just go quickly through the ships, right? Just quickly, and then we can go back and like talk about.
Sure.
So Buccaneer, and then we have Cutlass, which Cutlass Black.
Yeah. The Cutlass Black has been one of the best ships in Star Citizen for since 3.0, actually.
It's
Like it just has.
it's just such a good ship. It hurts to say,
Yeah.
but it's such a good ship, especially with ease of access with these side doors, right?
Yep.
And it
And
has
they made it
everything.
tougher.
Yeah.
So now it's not even like, the Drake thing where it's supposed to be kind of, kind of weak or whatever. I mean it's no Vanguard, but like
Well, it doesn't
it's
have
got a decent amount of
shields
hull
as
health.
much as some other ships have, but other than that, it packs a
Yeah.
punch again.
Yep.
It's serious jack of all trades and
Yeah.
master of some.
Yeah.
Like,
But this is it. This is where I guess the caveat comes in because this is like what we have right now, right?
well,
I
we're
guess
talking
that's the
about what
point
we
of this
have right
whole
now,
thing.
right? Like this is
Yeah.
now, not like when the game comes out, but now,
Yeah.
and how
Because
misleading maybe it is. I don't know.
well, I think a lot of people are in for a shock. I think you're right. You hit it on the head right there.
Well,
It is a
listen,
little bit
one
misleading.
side will be in shock. Either us who think that Drake will become shit ships, or those guys who don't expect Drake to become shit ship.
I think it'll be that the latter, and not necessarily that I think they'll be shit ships, but like for example,
Wait, I know. Wait,
like
let's just go. Let's finish with the ships.
okay, keep going,
So
keep going.
and
Right?
then on
Yeah,
top of Cutlass having Cutlass Black, now we have Cutlass Red and Cutlass Blue, where Cutlass
yeah,
Blue is state of the art ship right now for piracy, for like
yeah.
what's the name, interdiction, for like it's just fucking, it's a beast. You see Cutlass Blue, you run. Like that's not a ship you want to confront right now.
Yeah.
And then we have Caterpillar, which is again, in my opinion, we had the whole, which I wish was not Drake, because that's one of the most versatile ships in the game, with actually just like, I kind of feel like Lego blocks, like where you can just play with it without even flying it and have fun. Like there's so many different possibilities
Hmm.
about like changing, you know, certain sections of the ships, like mixing and matching. And even without it, and I'll tell you one thing, probably for a long time the best option for cargo hauling, because C2, we were checking the numbers. That thing cannot fit into the same hangar that Caterpillar can. So you need
Yeah, it has to go in an extra large.
which close, like you can't land in PO, for example.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, you can.
well, not with permission, right?
Not with permission, no.
Also, good luck landing that shit on and taking off from, like, you want to take Laranite and stuff, like it's gonna be rough. I mean, you can land anywhere right now, right? And just, as long as you're in close proximity, you'll be able to buy. But like Caterpillar fits on a medium hangar, but with permission on large. And
And it's like almost as maneuverable as like a ship, like the Constellation almost, you know.
n-
It's really fast, honestly. Like it accelerates really quickly
with these
for a ship
engines,
of
you'd be
its size.
surprised that it doesn't. And
Yeah,
then on top of that, fucking detachable module that looks like a really cool ship by itself.
yeah,
And here we are talking about Drake being Hugo. And then let's go further. We have Kraken. What are the fucking pads going to fall off of that thing? If you know, look at that ship,
yeah.
man. It just looks so fucking good.
Okay. Now that that now that that's over with, I will say that there's a reason Drake is popular in the lore even, and that is that they are like surprisingly effective and low cost ships. So I think while I think that like there are definitely going to be a lot of downsides to them that maybe aren't apparent yet, um I will like say on the other side of that, I think I do think that Drake doesn't deserve all the disdain it gets, because like they're from a lore perspective, they're they're really effective ships, and we're seeing that in the design too, right? Like
Well, we're
like
not
like you just
supposed to
pointed out with the
because
caterpillar, like
risk reward system goes there as well. Like if you're gonna risk by spending less money, you
hmm,
you know you have
yes.
to there has to be downside to that.
Well, that is definitely one of those things that is not in the game um yet, but but will be, right? Like the
Um,
like death of a spaceman is really going to is definitely going to be one of those mechanics that changes your mind on whether or not you want to fly a Drake ship.
will it though? Because at least, I mean, look at this. MSR doesn't have an escape pod.
Yeah, okay, so
You know?
that's an oversight.
No, no,
I mean,
no, no,
I
no. That's
you
not an
think,
oversight. The oversight was the second door. They never said that escape pods are an oversight.
but every other brand of ship has escape pods except for Drake. That was literally
No, it doesn't.
Drake's thing.
300 doesn't have an escape pod.
It has an eject. You can
It
eject in that. At least you could in the old
it
one. If they took that out,
you
then
can, but it makes no sense because you eject through the whole roof, which is not glass, but impenetrable shit. You know. So when you
really,
eject from Titan, you eject like the cockpit opens and you like eject yourself
yeah,
through. 300 series is one. You know, the roof goes into the cockpit
okay.
glass.
Well, that's easy enough to rectify though. Like you just like explosive bolts, bang, the entire top comes off, and out goes the chair. You telling me Origin doesn't have doesn't have an eject?
Yeah,
Come on,
maybe toilet seat.
no. No, I think they'll probably just blow the top off of it, to be honest.
That's
But like,
if I
I
can
don't know,
blow it
like,
off, how come the other you know? Anyways, we're going like this is tangent, but
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I don't know, man. It kind of feels like the Drake to me. I'm afraid that Drake will be the meta, even when the game comes out. Because let's look at it from the designer perspective. Like, if you make it so that it's too easy to die in it, no one will fly it.
yeah.
So
That's
you don't
true.
want that. But then if you make it cheap and then not so bad, then why would anyone? Well, obviously, if you want to fly Origin, because like I want to fly MSR or whatever, But like, from the perspective of like balancing things out, which I'm not a huge fan of balance. I think this is one of the great things of Destiny that they just let you be overpowered. But the problem is PvP, right? I don't know.
Okay, so I don't think that it'll be the meta. I think here's the thing, and here's what I've always thought with Drake. It will depend on where you are in space. Like if you are in if you were in like a shithole of a system where there's no access to any new components or stuff like that, I can see Drake being real handy
Because you can make
because
it's
they're
like Hugo, you
easy to
can make
fix.
components.
Exactly, they're easy to fix, and you're never gonna have a situation where it's
But it
like
shouldn't be like that. Because I think
that's
especially
exactly why Drake was designed.
but they fucked up, dude. And hear me out. I think you're gonna agree. Drake Cutlass Black has VTOL. It has tractor beam.
Yep.
You want to tell me this is like Yugo scrapping stuff? Like, you think someone can just scrap a fucking VTOL engine? This is fucking Gian technology or whatever the fuck, right? If I'm not wrong.
No, it's not. Not
No?
all Xi'an technology is VTOL. No.
You mean not
No.
all VTOL is Gian technology?
Not all,
Wasn't that
not
like
all VTOL
okay?
is.
But like this is
No.
high-tech ship, dude. Like from the inside,
Not-
it's a little bit obscured.
No, it's not. Go look at the engines. It's all like exposed pipes and wires.
Engines are, I agree. But
I mean, ultimately, this will come next year when we have the end of this year when we actually have like swappable engines and stuff like that. But ultimately, it'll have to probably come down to like gamifying. But like that, if you read the lore on Drake, that was literally why they were designed. They were designed for the outer systems basically that don't have access to fancy origin parts. And everything on those Drake ships are supposed to be rugged and able to be repaired easily.
Drake was designed for UE.
The Cutlass was initially proposed for militias.
Yes.
Or for the UE Navy, and they declined it. They said, "No,
I wonder why.
We don't want this."
But that's the idea. It was never.
And then
I'm just kidding.
It got really popular with militias and stuff like that on the Outer Rim because, again, really effective, rugged, easy to fix, cheap.
I just don't know. Like, there's a lot of tech on that ship that you don't have on Freelancer.
It's still. Wait, how do you figure? Like your tractor beam mount and stuff? You
don't have VTOL. You don't have fucking tractor beam. You have half of the tech that you have on Cutlass Black.
Well, VTOL in this case is literally just swiveling the main engines down. Like, I don't know. The tractor beam is just a utility mount.
Lada and Yugo, they don't have these like front, lights that like go up and down, and they don't have like Vipers on their lights.
Yeah.
Because that's electronics. You have to like fiddle with it. Lada and Yugo, like you can take the thing out and like smash it with a hammer and then put it back in and it works. So that's what I want from Drake. VTOL is not some cheap technology. Come on, man.
It is. It's just two engines. It basically all it is swiveling it down. Every ship in this game can VTOL.
No.
Sure.
It can like change the
vertical takeoff and landing. Every ship in the game can do that.
No, but that's like
the only difference is that the Cutlass can swivel its main engines down to do that.
Well,
even then, that's like it's not a big deal. That's not a big deal. Like it's
it's such a big deal that it's a selling point for certain ships.
Yeah.
Like what's the name?
This will be funny too.
Reliance.
It'll be funny if the VTOL like the swivels are actually like something that can break, or because you might just
you have to send your engineer. Like, can you go and like?
Well, no. You might just find like beat up Cutlasses on the rim or whatever, and they've just like welded the engines so they can't VTOL anymore.
VTOL it falls off. Or you tell your engineer, "Hey, Maso, can you go and like use flip the switch for VTOL?" And like, you have to go to the back and like switch both engines.
EVA out onto the engine and just like hammer it. Bang.
That's what I want them to be, and you know what? There's some fun in that as well. And you would still be, if you're a good pilot, like you still be able to use something like that. But right now, okay, let's look at Cutlass Blue, dude. What the
Okay,
fuck,
okay.
bro? Like that
I
thing.
think but we've already outlined how Drake is good. But like, here are some of the. Do you want to like move on to some of the things that are going to like actually be like probably a serious pain in the ass?
Sure.
Like if you so we got like actor status stuff coming in, so like hygiene is going to matter and stuff like that. And they've already talked about how like reputation is going to take into account things like what ship you're flying, what armor you're wearing, stuff like that.
Mm,
So
mm.
here's some of the ways that I think that people who think Drake is all that right now will end up kind of like maybe changing their mind a little bit later. There's no hygiene facilities in that Cutlass, which means that if you're in that Cutlass and you're sleeping in there for like multi-day missions, you're gonna fucking stink when you get back to port. Also, there's no bathrooms. So
Depending on the
like
version of cut.
yes. Yeah, red has facilities obviously, but this is what I'm saying, right? Like these are situations, right, these are mechanics right now that don't mean anything, like there's no that doesn't dissuade me from wanting
Okay,
to
but
fly
on
Cutlass Black.
that,
I love the way it flies.
we have a guy here who has Yugo, which so for those who don't know, Yugo is Serbian car, which is
Mhm.
equivalent to Drake. And the price of this car, well, they're not making them anymore. Like a few years ago, literally like 3 or 4 years ago, they stopped production. And the price for this car is like 200-300 euros secondhand. You can
Wow.
register and drive it; they work. Um, However, we have a guy who is racing in his Yugo that has Ferrari engine in it, and it's worth about like $9,000. Okay, so and why? Because he loves Yugo. I kind of like it as well. And so he also has a Merc, which is his everyday ship. So here's my question to you: like, what if you are really Drake enthusiast? Should you be considered? Should that be like? I think there's a misplay here where if the certain like if you have your Drake ship, let's say you're flying, what's the name, the exploration one, the one that you wanted,
Oh, Corsair.
Corsair, and
Yeah,
it's pristine, clean, has a nice paint job. You take good care of it. Should some companies take you as hobo because you have because you have Drake ship? Like I see a potential
maybe
misplay there, but that's kind
we've
of sad.
already it is kind of sad, but we already have that in the game or in the community right now. You shit all over Drake, like there are tons of people who just like instantly like it's a Drake, I fucking hate it.
Fuck you, Drake, dude.
Like so that's already the case with the Star Citizen community. Of course it's gonna carry through into the universe as well. There are gonna be people who just, you see somebody drive up in a Drake and you're just like,
but then some
look at
things
this
should matter.
motherfucker,
Like my
Well, it won't matter to
well,
everybody
listen,
because there's people like
but
me
my Caterpillar is
who
painted. It has a
yeah,
paint job.
yeah.
So what if I
You know what inside?
paint Origin on the side of it?
You know what inside looks like though? Got tinfoil on the walls.
Yeah, but it has 2 showers.
Yeah. You try getting a VIP into your Drake Caterpillar with tinfoil on the walls. They're gonna be like, "What the fuck? No."
Okay.
So
But
I
what
don't
if
know.
one of my compartments is actually fancy? Probably will not be
Well,
able to do.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how feasible that's gonna be. That would be kind of funny though. You have a luxury
Yeah,
Drake.
yeah, yeah. Dude, but all jokes aside, when you see Kraken, that's state of the art technology, man. Look at that thing.
Oh no,
Come
like compare
on.
that to an Idris, like it's very much not a military vessel. It's very much something that's like, steel beams and giant engines slapped together, like it does. When I look at the Kraken, even though it looks sweet, like I think it looks awesome because I also happen to like the way Drake ships look. Um like when I see that and then I see like a javelin, you can tell, like you can tell the difference between dedicated, military vessel and
Yeah, but this is
Drake carrier.
yeah, but that's a support. What do you mean? I think it
I'm
actually
just
looks
using.
better than Idris, but Idris is not
I'm
really
not
a
even saying
carrier.
it looks better. Like look at the apparent level of tech between
Well,
an
it can hold
Idris
more
or a
ships.
javelin. Yeah, sure, but that's again, like we're not talking about its function here. We're talking about like when you're looking at the ship, there's more exposed machinery, there's more exposed, like engines. There's like it definitely doesn't look like it's armored compared to like a javelin, which looks like
Yeah,
it's coated in like ballistic plating. Um
that's true. Like if you can
that's what I'm
break
saying,
engines
right?
easily with with ballistics and they're dead in the water, then you're yeah.
I mean, to be fair, it's still going to be a capital ship, so like, you know,
Yeah, but let's take
breaking those
Caterpillar
engines
for
is still going to
example.
be.
Like you see where the engines are
Oh
very
yeah,
easily. They're not covered with armor, and you
yeah.
go in your fucking hawk or whatever, and
Get up close to the engines on a Cutlass too, and you'll see like most of the guts are exposed on those things. They have like a little bit of plating on the top and the sides.
same
But
as
most of the internals are open to space, and if physicalized damage ends up working the way they intend it to go, that's definitely a disadvantage for Drake right there. You take a stray round through one of those engines, and it's not going to bounce off armor because there is none. It's going to be
okay,
like ripping through components.
but that's not in the game.
No, it's not, and that's
So
that's the game. Like that's the issue that we have right now. Right now, Drake ships are not Drake. They aren't very Drake
yeah,
because the mechanics that make them Drake aren't here yet.
exactly.
So yeah, I agree with you 100%. I don't think that
I
the
kind of feel like
that
okay.
Drake ships right now
So when
are
you
Drake.
when you enter Origin ship, you're on a cruise, like you're on a fancy, even the small ones,
Yeah,
right? You're like oof, posh,
yeah, 300.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But then if you enter a Starfarer, or God forbid, what's the name, Reclaimer. Have you been into Reclaimer? Or
Y-
even Hammerhead? Like there's
not
like
in a
things
long
like
time.
dropping from the pipes and whatnot. And then you
Yeah,
enter
I don't know what
Drake, and it feels like
everything's. Yeah,
yeah, it feels like Drakes are in
it
better
feels like
condition,
a.
right?
You know what the Caterpillar feels like to me? It feels like a ship from the Expanse, like probably a Belter ship, but it looks like everything is working. Like it's not held together by duct tape.
Yeah.
It's it's low tech and no frills, but it's like it's functional. That's what I get from it. And you're right. I don't. But they've mentioned that the whole like Starfarer or like Hammerhead or Reclaimer, where there's like
I
shit on
know,
the
but we're
floor and
talking
like
about
drips
now.
coming in. Like that's not.
I
It's not
know,
going
I
to be the
know, I
way.
know. Right
You're right,
now,
actually. Now that you think about it, like that Reclaimer does feel more
holy
Drake than a
shit.
Caterpillar
That
does.
Reclaimer is 700 years old. Like, fuck
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And then you enter, yeah, and then you enter, or even better, like,
But
what's
I
what's
still.
the what's the small one that looks like a tick? I always forget.
Oh, the Herald.
Herald. Like that thing,
Mm.
I from the outside looks very neat. Inside it has really good like it has good interior with a lot
Mm.
of tech
I.
inside.
You know what? Now that I think about it, I don't know if I've ever been inside a
Well, you
Herald.
can check my video on Herald. It's
Yeah,
funny, and
I've
it
watched your
does a
video, but I
connection
don't
with you.
remember.
So when you enter, to the right is a cockpit. In front of you is a huge like hacking station with like all these MFDs
Yeah,
and everything.
yeah, yeah,
To
yeah.
the left
Remember
is a
that part.
bed, and next to it is a toilet seat basically. And then above the bed you have like lockers and whatnot. I
Hmm.
mean, I like the interior of Herald, to be honest.
Hmm.
Fun fact,
Interesting.
Noodle was playing Herald for almost a month as a PP ship and was killing people in it. Imagine
Of course he
how
was.
pissed would you be to get killed by a
If you got
fucking
killed by a
Herald, bro.
Herald.
I tried this. No fucking way. Like, you think that some ships fly like a brick? This flies like this. It's
Oh yeah, I know.
ridiculous. Like there's no strafing, there's no holy shit.
That's awesome. I had no
He's a
idea he was
wizard.
killing people in Halo. Yeah.
You're a
But
wizard,
anyway,
Google.
I guess like with the fact that Drake ships don't feel like Drake ships right now because the mechanics that make them Drake ships aren't in. That's where I do feel like
Shock.
overall the people who own their Drake ships right now will be less stoked about those Drake ships, you know,
I mean, you can
when
always scrap them for raw materials.
I'm gonna have like a couple cutlasses. I guarantee you. Like I don't have them right now, but like you know, I'm definitely not going to be flying a fucking Origin ship or C2 or something like that out into the fringes. You know, if I'm or like if I have like if I have a Saber or something like that. You know, like I I mean, ultimately remains to be seen like how difficult repairs and parts and stuff like that actually are.
I'm gonna fly
But
the ship that protects my life best. Are you crazy?
I'm gonna fly the one that lets me fly under the radar and hopefully not get shot at all. Or at the same time, is something that's not gonna leave me stranded when something breaks and I can't repair it.
You
Like
don't have an alt
you can
account,
have
right?
you can have actually no, but I should get one.
No, but wait
But
for a good promotion.
yeah,
We should
totally.
have only Drake ships on our alt accounts.
That's actually kind of fun. I would do
Yeah.
that.
And then we
I'll
can
have a
like bitch
cutlass
about
on
how
my
bad
own.
they're bad, or like be like, see, fucking Drake is too good, or whatever.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, I mean that's kind of my logic is like even if you have a fucking ejection seat, if you're stranded in the middle of nowhere, that ejection seat is doing you no
Oh
good
come
at
on,
all.
no, no, because we talked about this before. Because if they want that of a spaceman, killing a capsule with in Evil Line, or like ejected person in space, has to be fucking month of prison or something like that, and
Well, just
ruin
instant
all
hits to
your
your reputation.
reputations or
Yeah.
whatever. And the way to prove this, like ejection seats need to have sensors, or like black box or something.
That's what I was thinking
Yeah.
is black box or something. I don't
So
even care
ejecting,
if they gamify it
I don't
entirely.
care.
Just like if you shoot somebody who's ejected, it should just be instant reputation
Yeah.
hit, like pretty much across the board with maybe a select few come,
Piracy, whatever works, or like NPC.
I think even piracy, I
Well,
think
depends
even
on like
piracy
some.
works.
You said select. Like there's gonna be
Yeah.
notorious, like don't
Like
give a
like
shit.
Xenothreat maybe wouldn't
Yeah.
care, you know what I mean? But like
And then
but even the Nine Tails would be like, no, dude, you don't shoot an ejection pod.
if you're in good standing, I think you're and hear me out. Like if you're in good standing with like UE or like normal orgs, your recovery should be paid from the government hefty, because that's a rescue. You know what I mean? Like, or if you're insured, let's say, you should not have to pay even for that. Like, that should be immediately distress beacon for someone to pick you up, get paid from whatever system you're in, and deliver you to safety. In worst case scenario, I expect there to be like an NPC rescue that like comes to you and then teleports you to the hospital, whatever the fuck.
Yeah. Something like that.
So I think ejecting, because they did make a big fuzz about ejecting, and as we said, like even some people don't know, but like for example, freelancer, every freelancer beds are eject capsules. They close
Same
and
thing in the
eject.
Vanguard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So most of the ships have ejection systems. Vanguard and even Reliance also beds are ejection systems. Yeah, I mean that has to mean something, or they screwed up completely.
Yeah.
All right.
That's what I thought the MSR was gonna be. I thought the beds were ejection pods, but
They're
they
not.
aren't.
Yeah. I don't know. I have a theory on MSR. and we talked about this. Not only MSR, but all Crusader ships, they have cut front of the ship. So
Oh, so you think the
the
whole front will
whole
just detach?
yes, and that would explain the
Okay.
big tube like that you go through. Like when you go through the
Right.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
And if you look
You know,
physically outside, it's cut there, and it's the same for this.
that's where I think they're gonna put the second exit. By the way,
Where
in that
maybe I
long
don't know.
in the floor, it'll be like a ladder thing,
Okay.
like like a like a small hatch in the floor or something.
If you look at, you just got it recently, the Ion and what's the name, the small ones,
Inferno.
Inferno. Also, they have
Yeah,
a chopped,
the Ares.
they have a chopped out like cockpit, like physically. The same goes
Yeah.
for Hercules. Um, so but they never talked about
Hmm.
this. So I'm assuming it's the same idea as the Tavern ones, Talon and Trike.
Right, where
Um,
the whole front of
but
the ship
yeah, but the
detaches.
whole fucking cockpit, and it's like a small vehicle that can actually continue flying because they are high tech, right?
Yeah.
Like Crusader are super high tech ships. They're not some random shit, right?
Yeah. Well, that's why I was like really surprised that the MSR didn't have escape pods, and I thought it was an oversight. But you know what? I actually just looked it up. Xylo's quoted just saying it just doesn't have them. Period.
I know. I was following this because you know how much I was disappointed with the ship, which I
Yeah.
thought would be my home, but there's just too much wrong with it for me. And I still think they're gonna turn it into. Look at all of their ships. Look at all of the ships, and you'll see how there's an exact cut at the
Mm,
cockpit, and it
okay,
would make
that'd
sense.
work.
And even if
Yeah.
they don't have that is an idea, well, they will hear in some podcasts, wink, wink, and maybe be like,
Yeah.
I'm sure I'm not the only one who thinks like this. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
can't be implemented.
That yeah, that'd work. I mean,
The only
actually
problem
now it would
is,
work now that they have the merging physics grids.
yeah,
Same thing with the detachable bridge section of the Caterpillar.
yeah.
That could
The,
basically function as that's better than escape pod because it's fully functional.
unless it's destroyed, right?
I guess. Yeah,
But
unless
the
they
thing
just chase you
is,
down.
well, yeah, because now you have an armed ship, so you can be KOS'd, right?
Right.
Where in a
Yeah.
pod, you're in
Right.
a pod. That's different. Um,
That's right. Yeah. Okay.
the problem with this ejection system for MSR is all your components are like when you enter them to the left, like at the back of the ship. But it could have, like safe and rescue, like power or whatever somewhere.
Yeah. Well, I
Not
mean,
even a jump
none.
drive, nothing.
I don't. Yeah. I don't think most escape pods have any
I know,
like components in them. But
I know. But what I'm like, if you're ejecting the whole cockpit,
yeah. Yeah. No, I think that's the. Yeah, I think that's probably how they do it. I don't know how. How did we get here from Drake?
what do you mean how we get there?
Oh,
Because escape pods.
right.
Drake doesn't
Yeah.
have any.
Right. None. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
going to be something interesting too. And this is tangenting a little bit, but like, I wonder if we'll see the work on escape. We'll have to see the work on escape pods before we really start getting into like death, like more serious death of a spaceman
Sure. And also,
mechanics.
what scares me is like, how do you? Because right now, the way the ships explode is kind of crazy. But
Yeah,
how do you know when to go into it? Because it takes time. Getting into
it
escape pod,
does.
it
Yeah.
takes a lot of time.
Well, and that's like it'll have to be physicalized damage at that point. Like you basically would start running for the escape pod if your ship stopped functioning entirely, as in you'd lost complete control of it, or if you started hearing that your power plant was starting to overload or something like
Mm.
that. um but yeah, you need physicalized damage for that too. Both of those, actually. You'd need physicalized damage, and you need escape pods before you could do death of a spaceman.
Here's the thing: the new. Well, we're gonna talk about that later. But like the new constellation, which I saw in Cameral's video, is like he turned off the shields and then he came with Aurora under it, and he was shooting at the ramp because before it used to be
Yeah. Yeah.
immune to damage. and after a couple of shots, it like dropped down a little bit. So that's definitely physicalized damage. You have that already. Like if you shoot left side of the Connie, it will the left part of the cockpit with like VTOL openings will fall off, and it's been in the game
Yeah.
forever, right?
Yeah. I wouldn't really call that physicalized damage though.
How come you're targeting specific section and something happens with that specific section?
Yeah, but the damage that you're doing is hit point based, not like
That's what you're saying.
component based.
No, but it's component hit point based.
Yes, yeah.
So what do you want?
Well, physicalized damage would mean basically that instead of like, oh, like my the center part of my ship got to 0 health, kaboom. It's like, like you're basically would just be punching holes in this ship until your components start to fail. And that's when, that's when your ships start dying. And that's something that doesn't really happen right now.
No, because we need be able to kill ships without boom. That's the thing.
Yes,
Because what the
exactly.
fuck are you
Yeah.
going to salvage if it booms? I mean, it's still
Yeah,
the shell
exactly.
stays, but it's
No,
yeah.
100%. Yeah, so that's what I mean by physicalized damage. I mean that like instead of just having your ship having a health pool that goes down until you explode, like your ship flies until the parts stop working and it can't fly anymore. It's more based on like what is taking damage as opposed to how much damage you're taking.
What I really want him to do is in real life, if everyone abandons the ship, including the captain, and someone else gets on board that ship, they claim the ownership.
Legitimate salvage.
Yes, that's the thing. The
Yep.
reason for this is different because some ships get lost in the middle of the ocean and they end up on another continent on a shore. And nowadays, with like registration and internet and everything, you can find your ship. However, think about like a couple hundred years back, you know,
I think even now, if it's in international waters, can't it be claimed as
it
legitimate
can.
salvage?
But
Yeah.
the reason this was in the beginning like made up is because usually the crew would be they would die from starvation
Starvation or
or
whatever,
hypothermia,
disease.
disease, right? Like what's the name? The lead one, scurvy, whatever, stuff like
Oh,
that.
that's not lead. That's vitamin C deficiency. Scurvy.
Yes, but isn't it somehow connected to like eating food from lead
Not
made?
not to my knowledge. That's different. That's just like you start going crazy when
Hmm.
you've
Okay, I could be wrong,
uh
but
because lead affects your brain, but yeah.
but like it would be really cool if someone comes and they're like, "We're gonna destroy your ship," and you're like, "Escape pod, you can't shoot me now because you're gonna lose all your reputation." And they're like, "Sure thing, but I can board your ship now, and it's mine, motherfucker."
Yeah.
you know, if you have like
Is
three
that
crew members,
technically
right?
even pirate? Is that technically even piracy at that point?
Nope, it's bullying,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you gave up your ship, like
Yep.
I don't know.
That's honestly that's I mean, now I'm really tangenting here, but that's what I'm looking forward to most with like where salvage and repair goes eventually is just it's not even like finding the ships and like pulling components off of them and stripping the hulls that I'm looking forward to so much as like finding a ship that's like almost functional. Just needs,
Oh
this and this part and
yes,
then being like this ship's mine now. Just gotta go find some parts,
man.
and I'll be right back.
In
Like
the game, in No Man's Sky, you find where buying ships easy and doesn't really matter that much. They're all goofy to me and everything, but I found
yeah,
ships crashed, and it tells me like which components are missing, and I save location, and like 5 hours later, I come back when I made all these components, and I
yeah,
have a new ship, and
yep.
it feels fucking good.
I know that's what I want to do.
Yes, we talked about this before. I'm with you on this. Like that would be great. Or if you don't want to
So
do it, like let's say it's a Drake ship and you don't want Drake ships, obviously. You're not on your
Or
alt
maybe you
account,
do.
and then you just strip components and sell it to another idiot who is flying Drake shit. Okay, okay, okay.
Or maybe I have a whole fleet of disposable Drake ships.
Yeah, but wouldn't you? Wouldn't you? Well, paying like upkeep for the ship, man.
We'll see. We'll see. That could be a factor
Yeah.
actually as well. It's actually something that I want to talk about in next week's Imagination Station
Cool.
because I want to talk about mission times versus the amount of pay
Yeah.
that we get. And that one very easily is going to go into ship upkeep
Of
and
course.
cost of fuel. Oh, and that's actually something we didn't really talk about in the Calling All Devs Repair Refuel. They have basically confirmed that fuel prices are going to be going way up,
Yeah,
which
they're
I
throwing out
am
their
kind of
butts
excited
though.
about. No,
No, they might
I
go up, but
want
we don't know what economy is, anyways.
well, it's true, but ultimately, like I want fuel to be something that is a legitimate expenditure,
I
and
don't.
honestly, it has to be. If it isn't, then people who are hauling, who are doing refueling gameplay, will
You're
never
wrong.
make profit.
You're wrong.
Why?
Because fuel equals what's the name? Range. Fuel equals range. That's where the fuel gameplay needs to be. If you were
Okay,
going to get, we talked about this. If you were going to gate me to play the game, if I need
okay,
money to even fly around, I'm just gonna go and play No Man's Sky. Come on, man. You can't. It's a game about spaceships. You want me to not be able to fly my ships at all because the fuel is too expensive?
no, but I want fuel to be enough of an expenditure that somebody who has a Starfarer isn't wasting their time
They're not
sitting out there asking.
because people are lost in space with no fuel.
Yeah,
And
and
then
then you're
their
gonna go over
fuel
there
should be
and
expensive, right? Because they can negotiate the price, right?
well,
And
obviously
you're lost in
that's what I
space.
mean, though, right?
No, but
That's
like
but
if
like
I
that's
am
the
in
thing.
the station, well, the dev should not have anything to do with this fuel. Like the
You know what I
price of
think it'll
this.
really come down to? I think engine customization will be a big thing, and two, the type of vehicle you're flying. Like this is the
Sure.
thing. If you want to just go fly around in your Caterpillar, well, guess what? That's going to cost. That's like
Okay.
me if I want to go driving around in a tractor trailer. It's fun, but fuck those things chug the
Okay, okay.
fuel.
So the
You know,
fuel itself
they're
should not
expensive.
be expensive. Where if you're flying, Nomad, you should not worry about fuel that much, except for the range. However, if you're planning on a trip with the Caterpillar, you have to spend a lot of fuel. So it's
Okay.
quantity,
I still want fuel cost to be something though. I'm not
something
saying like
sure.
I want fuel to bankrupt you every time, but even in a Nomad, like even in a Nomad, if
It's a fucking Tesla.
basically, and this is what I was going to talk about with the mission durations and
Okay, let's
pay,
not
but
talk about it now then.
okay. Okay.
All right, next Imagination Station for this week is Kruger Merlin P52, or any kind of constellation
This is
snuff ship.
where I get to shit on shit on something you like.
Hmm.
Cuz I think the Merlin is stupid.
Well, yeah, I cannot disagree because, but this is the let's make it not stupid. That's what the Imagination Station can be. Like let's think about how could
Hmm.
Merlin be useful, or
It could
what it should be to be
it,
useful, right?
it could not be the Merlin.
Well, we can call it
Okay,
Merlin
well this
Mark
is
II.
something this is what I was talking about like a little bit earlier. Um One of the problems I had with the Constellation in general with the detachable snub when I actually started playing the game was I realized that the P52, the Merlin that's in there, like the ship that's in there right now, is not what would benefit the Constellation the most. I think something that was a little bit more like a runabout, something closer to the um like in the direction of the Pisces. Not obviously not the Pisces, because the
Okay,
Pisces is
okay.
too big.
Hold your guns. Let's start at the beginning. Constellation series is not one ship, right? So we have Constellation Andromeda, which is a gunship. We have Aquila, which is an exploration ship. We have Phoenix, which is flexing ship. I don't know, luxury, right? And we have Taurus, which doesn't have Merlin, so it doesn't really matter, right?
Yeah.
So I first of all, I think they should not have the same snub. Which technically they don't. They have Archimedes and Merlin, right? But in
Yeah, it's the
reality,
same
these are
shit.
same shit, right? Like one is more brawly and the other one is more racy. I think, if I'm not wrong, I'm not
Yeah.
really sure,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, the Archimedes doesn't have that size 2 center mounted gun.
Which means is two size one guns, which means
Yeah. Why does it even have guns?
exactly. And that's another thing. Like I wish some vehicles would come with optional guns, like Drake Dragonfly, for example, and stuff like that. Like maybe I'm just exploring, but I don't need guns because I don't know. Anyways, I'd be okay for snub ships not to have guns at all. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Um, and okay, so as of right now, basically they have the same ship, and I disagree with this idea in the first place. But now, do you think so? From my perspective, having a little brawly snub on
It's not
Andromeda,
brawly.
I think it is. So here was my so when we talking about this before, I asked you, would you rather be in a turret or in Merlin? And you said turret, and then we talked about it a little bit, and then I don't know. You have freedom, you're an evasive target, you're hard to hit. Um, you have two size one and one size two on top of four size four and 48 missiles.
I still don't think that you can make that I mean, well, no, okay, no, I take that back. Because ultimately, if you're playing as a Merlin and you're playing it as a fighter craft, you have to be sticking close to that constellation.
Yes.
You have to be playing and coordinating with the constellation, or you're just gonna get dead really quick. One, because somebody's just basically gonna step out of range, lock a missile on you, and then bye, you're dead.
You
Um,
can destroy or escape missile in that thing for sure. They're very fast. We know that. They're faster than most of the missiles, especially
Yeah,
torpedoes.
but again, if you're running away from your mothership, so your mothership can't support you anymore, like all somebody would have to do is basically just chase you away, by
Even
locking a
that.
missile on you and making you run.
But that missile did
And
not end
then,
up in the hull of your main ship, right? And you are safe with it. That's what I'm
well,
saying. Now you gave me an idea. What if you're being torped, and actually that little thing can intercept and kill torpedoes? That's for sure.
if you can get back to it, power it on, and launch it fast enough to get out there before a torpedo
Okay,
before a
let's
torpedo
put it
hits you.
there. Like let's say you took an NPC like PV mission and you are jumping in. You know how now you jump into the area and then they start spawning or whatever.
Yeah.
Your guy, your sidekick knows, right? And he's already there at the jump. The moment you get there, they detach, and then you are like effectively two ships rather than a ship and a shitty turret. And you can in that small ship you can deal with M50s, with other Merlins if they show up, Buccaneers, while the Andromeda can heal bigger targets, right? They're not moving as fast and whatnot.
This is the thing. You can't deal with any of those ships that you just that
What
you
do you
just told me
mean?
about. A single size 2 and 2 size 1s is not
Okay,
enough
dude,
to kill those.
you are wrong.
Maybe NPCs,
What?
but like
Hello?
any player is not going
I'm
to.
not talking about player interaction. This is not a player
Even then,
interaction shit. And we
even then, like a single size 2, man, like a single size 2, that's your boom. That is not a lot of firepower.
I fly Aurora with two size 1 guns, and I do missions up to level 3 or 4.
Okay, that's fair.
It's not that shitty of a brawler. And keep this in mind, like, it's so small, fast, and even the cross section is tiny. Like, you can
Mhm.
avoid a
I've
lot.
done enough Pirate Swarm to know that those Merlins are fucking pain in the
Okay,
ass
I
to
was
hit.
just about to bring that up. Although keep in mind the Pirate Swarm ones are very buffed. Like they are better than the ones that we have on our side. But
Yeah.
you can change components. The best size 1 component will still get into your into your Merlin. Which fucking physicalized components on that thing? Let's not even start. Where the fuck are you going to fit all the components? But yeah, you know what I mean? Like Gladius now.
Yeah. But what do you even have on there? You have one shield generator, one power plant. The power plants are the big ones. Where are you going to fit those?
Yep,
The shield generators are small. You only have one of them anyways. Coolers,
you have a
can't
cooler.
remember how big
Must have a
coolers
cooler.
are. Yeah, probably has one. I
Anyways,
guess one, probably one.
anyways, again, so now that we talked about it a little bit, I say on Constellation Andromeda, I'm okay with having Merlin. I'd rather if I am, let's say it's your Connie, and you give me a choice of, hey, check, you want to help me with the turret or
Well,
Merlin? I'm in Merlin already.
well,
And we're talking
yeah,
PvE, like we're not talking PvP encounters. I don't think this is viable solution for PvP. But for PvE, I think it is.
yeah. Even the size too. Yeah, there's just so much wrong with the Constellation as a combat ship that. But I guess if I still could see the P52 being beneficial. Like I said, playing close to the Constellation and
Yes.
using the Constellation to soak damage,
I think if people
um,
are seeing
or break lock.
Archimedes and Merlin as they're snub fighters. They're not your dinghy to get to the shore like Pisces is, right? So
Yeah,
because Constellation can land anywhere, she does not need to stay in the in the out of the atmosphere for your ship to go down, whatnot, right? It's not a Carrack.
yeah, but it still isn't exactly fast in atmosphere.
It has VTOL and everything. She's
Yeah,
not
yeah, but it's not fast, right? So like the idea would be to basically have something that's smaller and faster for doing your scout work or something like that. In the case of the science vessel,
okay.
like I would
So
much
so if we go, so let's go next to Aquila, right? And there I don't see a point of these ships.
well, yeah.
um,
You
'cause
know what? That should be it right there. Maybe the Aquila and the or Aquila and the
Phoenix
Phoenix. Maybe they shouldn't even have them.
or have something different. Let's say
Exactly.
you have a
Like,
Kruger that has really good scanner in it instead of guns, and
yeah,
can literally your Aquila is there and you're like in front of. Oh, it's very stealthy, right? Stealthy with good sensors and all that, and then it goes through the you know bottleneck area or something where you expect danger, and it goes in and it's like, okay, it's safe. You jump on me now because it doesn't have jump drive, but it's fast, right? So it can fly like 200 kilometers away
yeah, yeah.
and say, okay, we're good, and then your slow ass Aquila can just
What I'm
jump on
trying
it,
to
right?
what I'm trying to weigh out now though is like what would the Aquila be able to have or the Phoenix be able to have if they didn't have that snub at all, you know? Because like does the Aquila need a sensor based snub when it has one of its turrets converted into a giant sensor, you know? Like what could it have instead if it didn't have that snub at all?
I don't like where you're going with this because it's like a signature thing on that ship.
Yeah, but you already pointed out it's kind of dumb. you know,
What?
like it's not a Carrick.
No, but I can see. No, I just think that like a brawly ship there is useless for me. I don't feel like I want it. But would
On
I?
the Aquila, absolutely.
Yeah, but
Absolutely it
I
is. I
want.
mean, arguably even on the Andromeda,
Well,
arguably.
from your
But
perspective, from mine, I
yeah,
want it. And but would I like? Okay, let's say new caves, and you can
okay.
definitely fly down. You don't want to fly in with that big ship because fuck, right? But if you have an exploration snub that is that small, it's basically
Okay.
two times Ursa.
Fair. That is one situation though. Now here's my counter proposal with the Aquila. If you lost the snub entirely and extended the bay on it, so more like the Taurus, that means you could have a rover in there as well as some cargo. Whereas right now you have to choose. Do you want the rover or do you want to have the ability to carry anything?
Sure, do I need a rover if I have you know snub that is actually exploration snub?
Well, this kind of comes back to what I've always said about like the one of the reasons I think that ground vehicles will be used is that they'll have a longer loiter time. You know, like even if fuel is cheap and you're not burning it really fast, hovering in a ship is going to burn more fuel than having a rover that just
Sure,
rolls.
but then we go back to my theory. If you're gonna time game me with fuel that much, then I'm not gonna play the game. I'm sorry. I wanna play the game, dude. And
Sure,
then
but
and then for sure there's gonna be a situation like let's say if I'm a killer pilot, which I'm not, but like if I'm a killer pilot or owner, I that's not a bad choice. Like on some missions, I know I need a rover because there's like trees or whatever the fuck, or just like no fly zone or something like that, right? And then I'll have to use my rover. But then on another mission, I'm gonna go with my
there's also
snub.
adverse weather, I guess. Actually, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, like right now, if you have both the rover and the snub on
You
board,
don't
you
have
can't hold
cargo.
anything.
Well, you can. You really can. That ship is huge. You just
Well,
can't
it's like up
have,
around the rails.
huh?
Yeah, definitely not any sort of large cargo. And that's all
Let
I'm
me
saying.
think.
It's like if you got rid of that snub, I think you'd have more
Oh,
more flexibility
you're
out of that.
changing the ship. That's not the point.
We're
Don't
ta-
change the
we're
ship.
talking
We're trying
imagine.
to
We're talking
imagine
imagine,
Merlin.
and I'm
We're
imagining that it's not there.
you don't have to imagine it was not there for such a long time. I mean, it's fucking part of the ship. I don't know why. It's like, okay, you're being an inforunner now. You're changing the
Whoa.
ship to where it's better for something. Like we can change every ship like this because we
Well,
like
you're
something
doing
more.
that too with the Merlin with like sensors and stuff like that, or like a fast runabout that has a sensor suite on it. So
Ah,
I'm
come
changing
on.
it. I'm changing it by saying, imagine how much better the constellation would be if you didn't have to account for a drop down
Okay,
snub.
you have that already. It's Taurus.
Okay, yeah.
So there you go. That's how
But
much better it would be. You have it. It's gonna have more cargo. I would still rather. I mean,
I'm just saying. I'm just saying that potentially. Well, I mean, I suppose at this point we're talking constellation, not P52, but the Aquila based off of a Taurus chassis. I don't know.
okay. Let's change this. Change the snub fighter in Constellation series to your liking.
Okay, well, I've already kind of pointed out how if the snub is definitely going to be there, then yes, I agree that like some sort of scout for the um Aquila would probably make more sense. Unless it's potentially a defense thing, I guess, in which case you could argue that especially with the missing turret on the Aquila.
I just want to
Is it
escape.
2 missing turrets?
No, it has a lower turret.
Oh,
Here's the
so the
thing.
garbage one.
I just wanna with Aquila, I just wanna escape. Or, you know, beg
Yeah,
for mercy or pay for it. Like if I'm in Aquila, I'm not going to
right. You're not
combat,
gonna be,
right?
like, trying to
The
hang
guns
around.
that I have on my ship, which is a lot of guns, 4x4s. That's if I encounter fucking space rhino or something. You know what I mean? Like, like force of nature, an alien, whatever the fuck. Like, if I'm, but then I don't even know if these guns are there to scare. I don't know. I'm if I'm gonna fight, I'm gonna be in a gunship. I'm not gonna be in an exploration.
Yeah,
So
but I mean, by that logic, then, like, take all the guns off the
I would.
Constellation.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
But I wanna use something else then. You know, if I can't replace them with something useful, then I don't want to remove them because why would I remove them? And I miss that. I
Yeah.
miss that in Star Citizen. I want to be able to have maybe small. What's the name? PDS, point defense system.
Yeah.
Right. I'd rather have that to just protect myself until I'm escaping. Than having an actual
Yeah.
guns.
Yeah. Oh, well, there's there's another point for not having the snub on the Aquila.
Why?
Could have rear-facing PDC turrets.
I
That way
mean,
they're like auto shooting down missiles as you're turning tail and trying to get the fuck out of there.
it'd be cool if you can park your Merlin the other way around so that it can actually shoot us back.
No.
Because now it can shoot through the ship. By the way, um,
But like as far as the actual brawly bits go on the Andromeda, like I don't know. I still, you know what? I'm just gonna have to get a Merlin and just go like try to actually kill something because to me the loadout is just so lackluster that I just really like anything medium fighter or above could just ignore that
no,
Merlin.
no, 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 no,
Yeah,
no.
you're telling me
I will
we're
beat
gonna have
your
to,
butt
we'll
in
test this.
Merlin if you're flying Constellation.
You think you could actually kill a constellation
Yes,
in a Merlin?
I can kill a caterpillar in Merlin as well.
Well, not that now that shield holes aren't here anymore.
Yes,
You
it will
probably
take a
can't.
long time, but I will kill it.
You think you can actually take the engine off of a caterpillar with a single size 2 ballistic
And two size ones.
before you run out of ammo? Okay, you're gonna have to test
I
this
would probably use
like in
CFs rather,
313.
but yeah.
Well, you're definitely not gonna get through shields with 2 size 1.
I did
Like
get
those
through shields with fucking Mustang Alpha, so
with with size 1 repeaters, you got through caterpillar shields. The only way you're doing that is shield holes. I can guarantee you that.
but then
The
okay, so
only
that's a
way.
large ship. So let's get back to Constellation.
Let's get back to a Vanguard.
No, that's not any medium ship. That's a fucking military
That's a heavy
beast,
ship.
okay? Shut up.
Even still. Even still. Okay, a Saber. 3 size 1 shields on it.
Stop. Wait, you're going the wrong direction.
That's a medium ship. That's a medium fighter.
Yeah, but it's a fighter.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Anything
Again, we're talking about like a
medium fighter.
You're talking about PvP. Yes,
Yeah,
I can
okay.
kill PV Saber in that thing because I can kill PV Saber in the fucking Aurora. Yes.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. Because the PvE situations they're running with like D grade components and
Okay,
shit like that.
Andromeda is a PvE ship.
That's true. It pretty much is.
That's what it is. I'm sorry, but
And it's pretty much all it's ever going to be.
but PvE is going to be probably 90% of this game. So
You know what? I'm just going to reverse course then. If we're just solely considering PvE and we're talking about PvE ships that are running D grade components, that's the other clarification here. Because long term, that's not always going to be the case. Your
Or
NPCs will have just as good a components as PvP players. But for now, sure, I'd play around in a Merlin. That'd be a hell of a lot of
let's
fun.
go. When patch
But
hits, let's go and do
long
missions
term,
together.
like if you're having to try to dig through A grade shields or something like that, like A grade military shields, I just don't see it.
Here's an
I
imagined
just don't
thing,
see it.
though. If you could, like, okay, so when 313 hits, you get to my stream, and we'll play together. Um, um, whatever the or off stream doesn't matter. Bounty missions, right? You're gonna be in the Merlin. I'm gonna fly the Andromeda, and you know what would be cool if you could have ballistics and if you could replenish ammo from Andromeda.
Oh, like repair, rearm, refuel,
At least
or maybe not
rearm and
repair.
refuel, not repair, right? You're
I don't
not,
think they
dude. You're
do
not gonna
rearming
get
either.
hit, bro. You don't understand. Like I was flying this ship already in
Oh, I
combat
know.
situations. I'm not getting hit in PvP situations.
I flew around All Star enough to know that those things are
Yes,
like mosquitoes.
and with like the in PvE situations, these things are and they're a distraction. That's another thing you have to think about. Like most likely in PvE scenario, NPCs will focus small before focusing large, right?
Hmm.
Which means I'm running around in a mosquito while my constellation is either smoking with like fucking 48 missiles or 4 size 4 guns while
Yeah.
being capable of positioning properly and whatnot, or just not having to deal with M50. Which you know when M50 starts like flying around and you're like,
You know what? Now that I think about it, well, I don't know. I still am skeptical about the firepower when you start dealing with decent components. But one of the things I could see the P52 being particularly good for would be flushing ships out of the constellation's blind spots, making it so that a ship basically can't just sit behind the Connie and
sure.
pump rounds into its engines,
And even
But
there, it's so much better than a turret because turret cannot do that right now in Constellation.
yeah, well, yeah, again, that's the problem. The problem right there is that like again, I mean, it's well known the gunship aspect of the Andromeda is not doesn't match up with the reality of combat in the game, but the P52 may help. Okay, fine, I'll try it, but I still think that it's undergunned and in any sort of like serious situation with like major components, I think that the P52 will not be enough to save the constellation.
I think even in PvP scenario, it could potentially save the Constellation from, like, jumping, you know, sacrificing your P52 and a pilot in it. Oh, shit. To jump.
I was
And
like,
think about
I
this.
changed my mind. I'm not flying a P52 for you anymore.
um,
See you, Masso. This is getting too hot for me.
Another thing is, like, let's say you're being quantum dampened, like with Blue or Mantis, and if they have it so that when you're like, you know what we were talking about, like if you're punching holes into a ship, like the dampening lowers or something like that, that would make sense to me because shields are pushing like more power, and we know already that like if you ever tried using the quantum dampener on Mantis, it uses a lot of power. Um,
Yeah.
you're running low all the time, so if I'm like discharging your shields, you might have to let go, and the Connie might just fly away.
Yeah. And then you left your fucking Merlin there.
Well, I mean, you were a fan of Battlestar Galactica. It's well explained there
Yeah.
that sometimes just have to send people, and they know they will not come back.
That's the Galactica. There's like 1,000 people on that ship.
No, but like
This
on
is
a
like a
mission,
constellation.
you know.
You got 4 people.
Maybe we have the arrow that they brought from whatever the fucking maybe there's something really important on the ship cargo wise, or endangered species, or I don't know.
The only thing I could think of in that situation would be, as the guy in the Merlin at that point, if I saw the ship jump away, it'd be just like burn somewhere hard
Yeah, and
under
then the ship will
conventional
come back for
drives,
you.
try to get far enough away and maybe lose them because you're going to have like next to no signature on a
Yeah,
Merlin. And then hope to God they can come back and pick you up later.
you will always be
That's a
able to
lot of
jump to
if.
your own ship, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
for
there you
sure.
go. You turn on that beacon and hope that they come there before the other guys do it.
Yeah. Or maybe the other guys just get bored and leave.
To be fair, I
But
think like if you turn off everything on it, it will still scoop enough of hydrogen fuel to like just keep going far, far away, and then hide behind an asteroid or inside a shallow asteroid and wait. Okay, that's like okay. It is Imagination Station, but like we're way up. All right. Well, our next topic is different.
it was gonna be, this is usually where I do the science show, but the absolute zero effort science show specifically. But I'm not doing that this week because I don't have anything to talk about. Um I haven't been playing the game enough to have like little things jumping out at me. But what I'm doing now instead is I'm just gonna do a section on like the roadmap and just kind of like fun stuff that jumped out at me and that I think is interesting to talk about in the progress tracker and stuff like that. Um, so, without further ado, I'm going to talk about some weird shit that I found on the roadmap. Which, first of all, and this is something that I'm a little bit more. This is more of like a
Mm-hmm.
but the Hercules apparently is still showing as tentative for 313,
Mm-hmm.
which they were planning on releasing it for 313X. But to me, that says that it might not even be in 313. It might slip to 314
I'm
if it's
done.
still showing as tentative.
I'm melting it.
Okay, I'm not because I like that
Well,
ship.
yeah. I got it so that my community can run around and figure it out day one, and then I can just melt it anyways. I'm not interested in a ship. But now that I don't even know if it's gonna come, I actually want that Taurus, and before it gets into game, and I have to juggle the funds, right?
Oh, that's right. You want your constellation back,
Yeah,
right?
and I'm
Okay.
afraid now that it might come out at the same time, and then Taurus will be more expensive. So for sure, will not be $150.
No, yeah, it's definitely going to be more than that for sure. Um, the second thing that jumped out at me that is really weird, and this is something we didn't really talk about in the news, but in 313, sign distance field shields are out and apparently working for plugging shield holes and stuff like
They
that.
really
Which
are.
they really are. Yeah, Cameroon did a video on it. Maybe I'll link it in the gossip section
Yeah,
on
we can talk
Wednesday or
about it.
whatever if you're really interested. Cameron always does these shield hole
He might be out of job,
analyses
man.
videos. Yeah, well now, yeah, like he did a test on the constellation, and none of the typical shield holes are there. But the weird thing about this, and this is, I don't know what's up with this, but in 314 it's still showing shield tech replacement in 314
My,
for legacy shield tech replacement.
my theory on this is it's either ground vehicles or they're on their vacation and forgot to change it.
I don't think it's ground vehicles. It says specifically adapt code to determine shield hits based off of dynamically contoured shield meshes for more accurate combat gameplay and to eliminate possible weak spots in shields. This also extends shield tech to entities
Someone did
Oh,
not read.
I didn't read the whole thing. This also extends shield tech to entities beyond just vehicles. So
Oh,
maybe that's why that's in there still. So it's maybe for like bases, star bases,
Someone was mentioning this before, like maybe Super Mac Brother, and they said maybe for like suits, as in like arm, the what's the name?
Well, they were gonna do deployable shields. So
There
you
you
could
go.
like drop a gadget and it would like fold out into a
But what's
shield.
the name of that suit? Like Iron Man thing,
Titan suit,
Titan suit, maybe. I mean, they probably have that in some kind of development. So maybe
maybe,
now that they're like
maybe.
reworking shields, maybe they're just doing it for that as well. Because that's gonna have a
It's
shield.
still weird though because like because again, like they do update the roadmap, like the cards and stuff like that, like every 2 weeks, and I just kind of weird to see that one still in there and not modified.
Not to be afraid though. In 313 PU, it's there. It looks awesome. It works.
Yeah, yeah,
And this is probably something I didn't expect, but this will make me play for a bit of an extended time because I wanna do some PvE combat to see how different it is now. Because this might
that's
prove
actually a good call.
that tier 4 and higher missions are tough. Because the ships will have
Maybe
more
actually.
time to
Oh,
kill you, but
maybe.
also you have better shields now, so
I didn't
it
think
will
about
be
that either.
interesting. You might need a
I'm
friend.
exci- I'm ex- I'm excited about it because I want to try out ships like the Hornet and the Buccaneer again, like we were talking about earlier. Like
This changes
I'm
so
curious.
much, really.
It really does, yeah. Because that was one of the issues with the Buccaneer is it had a shield hole right over the cockpit, and if you caught a stray round, it's just instant dead.
And
You
the
know?
cockpit ones are like ones in the front are so fucked up because there's a lot of jousting, right? Even against like NPCs, a lucky
Yeah,
bullet will hit you there, and you're just gonna drop dead.
yeah, yeah, for sure. And then the Hornet specifically, like, the Hornet has been a useless ship for so long because of the giant shield holes in the back. Like you lose parts of your ship
Mm.
all the time. Like so, and I like the Hornet. The Hornet's a fun, like it's got a cool. You don't like you don't like Star Wars very much, but like it gives me big X-wing vibes, like the shape of the cockpit and stuff like
I
that.
like Star Wars before Disney, so we can, yeah. I like Hornet.
Hmm.
Here's the thing: I
Um,
stopped flying my DUR because you know how Freelancer DUR has like 4 additional tank fuels on the wings,
yeah,
and then whatever you do, some of them like fall off because I don't think they were
yes,
protected by, and then it looks like shit because I have like 3, and I'm like, ugh.
yeah.
So I
Just
hope
pure vanity.
this maybe, yeah, this maybe fixes that. Maybe not. I don't know.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
At any rate, that is definitely something that is going to be that's probably one of the biggest things to come into 313 actually is the shield tech. It's cool that they're thinking of doing it beyond
Tips, right.
beyond ships and stuff. That's neat. And then randomly, the other thing that kind of like jumped out at me as I was like looking at the progress tracker, um, it's not in a place where I expected to even look. It's in the like deep tech, um, uh, one of the deep tech sections where most of the stuff I don't understand, but they have this one listed as a feature testing framework which is supposed to finish in Q2, and the readout says it allows devs to automate testing for their own features, which is really interesting because if they can automate testing, does that mean we get faster feature rollouts? Do we get fewer bugs on feature rollouts?
I'm afraid this is connected to some like very specific part, which like you know things that you can't even find in the roadmap, like maybe just food digestion system or interaction with food, let's say, or whatever the fuck. I don't.
Oh, possible, but it's in the dev tools team,
Well, yeah,
uh, dev tools
it's
tab.
not
So yeah,
specific for any. It's not in vehicle feature team, right? So it could. I don't know. I don't know. This is one of those that might be super cool, but might not affect much, on our end. But we can hope. Would
maybe
be
not.
nice. Would be nice.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, it's coming out soon, and it's just kind of one of those things that like it's not flashy. It's not where most people are looking in the
Mm.
progress tracker. But if it results in features like professions or whatever being able to like roll out faster because they can automate a lot of the bug testing and stuff like that. That's sweet, man. That'd be awesome.
Yep. No, it
So,
sounds like it could have a lot of
and,
potential, but I wouldn't be surprised if
and
it's not.
yeah. Well, and at any rate, like even if it comes out, even if they finish it by Q2, like obviously you're not going to start seeing the
No.
benefits of it until later on in the year, probably like more like closer to the end of the year, if anything.
You know what else
But
I think? I think they're
it's something
using
that
it
I'm going to keep
already.
an eye on now.
It's just not finished. Like it's probably like partially usable, I guess. You would think
Possibly,
after this
yeah.
many years they have systems of feature testing, stuff like that. But I don't know. I'm not the dev, so
That's called the PU.
yeah, where you have people doing QA for you and they pay you for it. Amazing.
Yep. That's
Welcome
us. We're
to
suckers.
21st century gaming industry.
Yeah. A whole other discussion,
Yeah.
which we've had a few times
Yeah.
already. Okay. Anyways,
Cool.
no, that's pretty much it. Just like I said, when I don't have science stuff to talk about, I'm just basically going to be like poking over the roadmap and looking for fun stuff to talk about.
No, that's cool. And
For interesting stuff that I haven't heard people talk about.
the shield stuff we might know by Wednesday, and Cameron said that he's going to test more. But I think that's going to be a very important part, of our Wednesday show. So I definitely want to touch on that, and because also there's one thing that we're not going to expand on this now, but like interiors of the ships are indestructible, which that's definitely gossipy for me, because you can literally open the back of your ship, let's say Atlas Black, and it's like the bullets are bouncing off. You don't need shields. It's just like everything is bouncing off.
So this is what you do then. When your shields are down and you're in trouble,
open everything.
Open all doors.
Especially if you have like Caterpillar that has so many like open like space, like open everything, and the chances are like 70% that they will miss because they're hitting.
Exactly. They're hitting the interior, which is invincible. Yep. So there you go. There's your hack for 313. Open all your doors. You're just gonna see PvPers like going into PvP with all their doors open.
But this has been in the game for a long time, though. I just did not know.
Yeah,
crazy.
It's the new meta. It'd be hilarious if the Cutlass became the new meta or whatever, because you just open your doors up. And
but it's not even a joke. Like you open that doors on the side and all the fucking hatches and the back of it, and
yeah, that is a significant portion of your ship that is now immune to damage. Oh, it's cheese. We'll talk about that. Yeah.
Not to mention, you didn't have people there with fucking missile launchers that are not they're protected.
Yeah, but only until the shields go down. I bet you anybody inside would still take damage.
You think so?
Well, we'll have to test that too. We'll test that when we're testing the Merlin.
Okay, sure. I'll be in the Merlin for that test.
Okay, we'll just get like some random people from your stream and we won't tell them.
Hey, what do you mean random people? I have a community there.
Okay, well then random people from the server.
I'm kidding. It's so good. All right. Do we have any questions?
No, we have one question from Merlin, but it's not a question.
What is it?
He says that the beds in the MSR are escape pods, but they are not.
Oh, they're definitely.
They are not. Yep. I think he was just getting mad because I wasn't because we were recording and I wasn't responding.
Okay.
But yeah,
it is what it is.
Sorry, bud. The MSR does not have escape pods.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I wish it had, and some other things. But you also wanted to. Did you want to correct yourself publicly, or
correct
both of
yourself?
Both of us.
Both of us were wrong. I can't remember exactly what the conversation was, but
I said the Aurora was the first jump drive ship.
Right. Yeah.
The reason was like opening jump holes or whatever. That I don't remember. It was.
Yeah. And I said it was the Zeus, but it turns out we were both wrong. And the first quantum capable ship was neither of those. They were like big ships that were owned by like nations and stuff like that. The Zeus was RSI's first ship that was quantum capable, that was like available to the public. It was like, accessible. So yeah, we were both wrong.
There you go. And when we're wrong, we'll say it. That's fine. Except for if it was wrong speculation. If you guys, if it's imagination station, and yeah, that's fine. Can't be wrong with that.
Well, but I mean, again, if you are listening to this and yelling at the screen because we said something wrong at any point,
Oh, for sure.
especially when I'm doing my science sections, because again, emphasis on the zero effort there. I'm not a scientist at all.
Comments.
Like, feel free to correct us.
We read them, respond to them. Master responds more than I do, but we both read them. I mean, obviously, if we make a mistake, we like to learn about it and correct it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. Hey,
that's it. 3 hours 10 minutes, man. Not bad.
Holy crap! Look at us.
I'm proud of us.
Yeah.
All right. You want to call it?
Yeah. Yeah. If you guys are listening to this still, after I think this is one of our shortest episodes, so hopefully you're still listening at this point. If you could give us a like and only 3 hours, yeah. If you could give us a like and a subscribe, we appreciate that. We're still a pretty new channel and small and whatever, and even though we're just doing this for fun, it's nice to see that people are watching this and liking this. And as we said, comments down below if you have any commentary on on anything we've talked about. I'm usually bored before work in the morning, and I will go on and just like see what's going on. And on that note, thank you for everybody who has been active in the comment section section of our videos. We've had some good conversations going on in the last couple episodes, and we appreciate that for sure.
We're happy to spark some conversations and very nice behavior in the comments, which is not very usual for YouTube. Which means the community that is growing around this is something that we can be proud of for now. It warms my heart. It's really nice.
Like even when we were like disagreeing in the comments, which has happened. Like everything's been pretty civil. So
that's what I'm saying.
We appreciate you guys.
It's not like everyone's white knighting for us, or it's just like it's very nice way of expressing, and I appreciate that. All right. Apart from that, Wednesday. But so if you guys don't know, so this one is also being broadcasted live on Twitch TV/Masocast every Sunday. We usually start a little bit earlier before we start the show, so that like you can hear our thought process and whatnot, interact with us. When we start recording, we're not responding to the chat until we get to Q&A session, where you can ask questions throughout the show using the points. And if you can't stay until the end, you can just check the end of it on YouTube. Also, Wednesdays, we are doing our other show, which is much shorter, like half an hour, which is called Stanton Gossip, which it's not that gossipy, to be honest, but or less and less. But
sometimes it's gossipy.
But
especially when we find juicy stuff on social medias.
But it's also like update of like we watch a lot of YouTube content, so and other social media stuff about Star Citizen, and if there's something that is extraordinary, or like we think not a lot of people are watching, or something really really good and worth mentioning, like last ATC with so many well-known players of Star Citizen and community and content creators, of course we want people to hear about that and bring it out to the as much as our reach is, right? All right, well, that's it. Thank you for being here for this long. Have a great rest of your week. Happy Easter if you're celebrating. That's how you say it. Celebrate.
Yep.
Okay. And and see you in 3/13 if it comes out before the next show. Take care.
It's not going to. Bye.